The guy taking a piss in it. Like, you taking a piss, mate?
Alright, we're running.
Subliminals. Right. Kal Halal,
Yahweh
Yahweh,
Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai,
Ba'Shem,
Ba'Shem Hakadash.
and double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. And honors to you brothers out there in the highways and the byways teaching this word in all sincerity and truth. And shalom to you brothers and sisters out there listening and learning and supporting the ministry. And yeah, I did a little sit down on it, but I wanted to really go more in depth, and we want to discuss slavery because, you know, Tutu's, you know, that terminology of slavery is very triggering, especially when it comes to so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, considering our current state and previous history of chattel bondage on the Esau Edom. I mean, we've all seen Roots. And it's traumatized you to the point where
All types of slavery is bad.
yeah, you feel like slavery is, you know, like a all-encompassing evil. So when you hear the Hebrew Israelites saying that, you know, the other nations and Esau Edom are going into slavery, you kind of have a negative reaction to that because you've been taught to negatively react to any mention of slavery. Which, you know, look, man, what happened to us and what is happening to us being in captivity is a wrong, is a evil, okay? But what you're going to find out when you read the scriptures is that slavery in itself is not an evil. You know, the law of the Most High, the righteousness, the just wisdom of the Heavenly Father incorporates different forms of slavery. And what you're going to find out is that these other nations were created to be our slaves. Another word for slave is servant. Yeah? Okay, you want to get another word. So you see, that word is very triggering. Oh, slave.
Yep.
Slav. But another word for slave is servant. But there's different forms of slavery.
But we need to remember as well, like, what our forefathers were promised, right? That we would have servants, that we'd have rulership over nations. Which means they're all in servitude to us.
Yeah.
You know, that is part of the promise. That is what the Most High is going to give the children of Israel.
In fact, I'll go as far as to say is that you could not be a great house, especially going back into times past. You ought to understand that you could not be a house that is great without servants, whether they be hired servants or bond servants. And you would find that most houses had a mixture of both. So when you read in the scriptures and you read about the nobles and you read about our kings, all our nobles, they had bondmen and bondwomen and hired servants. That's part of what made their houses great. This is a part of our culture to have slaves.
Yep.
Okay, well, we're gonna go into it in the scriptures, and hopefully you lose that emotional reaction, or, you know, because these Christians hear us talking about and they think we're evil for wanting to do that. No, it's not evil at all. First of all, it's right.
We'll say the concept's skewed, isn't it, right? Because there's people out there that, you know, hire a nanny, you know, to look after the child when they're at work or something. But it's the same thing. It's the same principle.
It's a hired servant.
You know.
Now,
you might not own that servant. You might work for a company, you hire or whatever. It might not be yours, but that's part of the problem. You're having to pay. That's why you're losing money for this servant, which should be yours essentially. You know.
Well, like I said, there's different types of slaves. Hired servants, and then you had bond servants. Bond servants would be heathens. You could actually buy them on the market. Their parents might sell you to them, and you would now own them and their children forever. And that's just how it is, unless you deem it that you want to provide them with their freedom. And that's righteous, it's just. We're gonna get it. Go on, let's kick it off like a ball.
So this is the word servant, man. This is from Strong's H5650 Ibad, right? And it means slave, servant, manservant, subjects. Right? Servants.
Subject. So did they not say that on the British Isles, everyone of the Commonwealth and of the UK is a subject to the Queen? So you could replace that word with servant. And then you can also replace that word with slave. But they ain't gonna say it like that, because obviously people will get an emotional reaction because of Roots.
The servants, worshippers of God, It's a servant in special sense as prophets, Levites, etc. It's like a servant of Israel, servant as form of address between equals. There's more down here, and it tells me here. So, there's a lot here. It says a servant who amongst the Hebrews was commonly a slave.
Amongst the kingdom was commonly a slave, okay? Because slavery was part of our culture. Yeah.
And you got terms here, a servant of servants, which means the lowest servant.
Yeah,
there's hierarchy in that as well.
There's a hierarchy even among the servants.
Yeah.
Some servants would have servants, just like in a business. You got a manager as a servant.
Ooh.
You know, you get a manager, then you get the employee under the manager.
Yeah.
Like Abraham had a head servant who was a steward over his house. He was still a servant under Abraham, but then he was over all the other servants, and they would have to obey him as an authority.
Yep.
Okay.
Some more stuff out of this, right? It says to a whole people, to a whole people when subject and tributary to another.
Right, and that's called vassalage. And we're going to get examples of that in the scriptures. You know, David made all the different surrounding nations his vassals, and then, well, not all, but most of them. And then even during the time of Solomon, which we'll get it later, you had many nations that put themselves in vassalage under Solomon. They actually came and said, yo, I like the way you're running things. I want to be a part of what you're doing. And to be part of what we're doing, we know we're gonna have to put ourselves into servitude, and we're gonna have to pay gifts. We're gonna have to give tribute, tax, if you wanna put it that way.
Yeah. This is to the servants of a king, i.e. his ministers and courtiers, military captains, to the common soldiers themselves. The Hebrews, in speaking to superiors, either for modesty or else lowly adulation, call themselves servants, and those to whom they speak lords. And this is the thing, we were meant to be lords, we're meant to be rulers over the nations. So there is a superiority thing. That's why we say you nations are beneath us, right? You're meant to be ruled over, right? Not meant to be equals, you know.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest lies ever told. Deceptions, the idea of equality. There's no such thing. Everybody serves somebody. You know, there's a hierarchy. You know what I mean?
It's got here, yeah. Here's one example. It says, how can the servant of my Lord talk with my Lord? Because you have a place to speak, right? You don't just speak at a turn. You have to be requested to speak, you know. And that's what it's gonna be, because there's no respect right now, you know. There is no respect, right? And this is what you heathens are gonna learn when our King and our Lord shows up.
Learn your place.
Yeah, the Lord's gonna, Yahweh Shai is gonna put everything in its order.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's pretty much it. I mean, there's more stuff here, but
so when you go into the term slavery, when people think of slavery, they think of chattel slavery, which was Kunta Kinte and that man. Yeah. So it says in chattel slavery, the enslaved person is legally rendered the personal property of the slave owner, kind of like how a wife is. Yeah, because a wife is the personal property of her husband, right? So when you could have a chattel slave, which is what we would call a bondman or a bondwoman. A bondman or a bondwoman is in bonds to a particular person and is their property. Okay, now that happened to us, and Esau's going to pay for that, but it's actually in a law that we could do that to the other nations justly and righteously. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, so you got chattel slavery as a social institution. Chattel slavery classes slaves as chattels owned by the enslaver like livestock. They can be bought and sold at will. While some form of slavery is common throughout human history, the specific notion of chattel slavery reached its modern extreme in the Americas during the European colonization. But then that's why Esau started crying about, we're not the only ones, because at the end of the day, chattel slavery wasn't something that Esau Edom invented. Right? This has always existed. Right? Even among us, the Israelites. The only thing is that according to our law, we weren't allowed to put I think that's Deuteronomy 15 or something. We weren't allowed to put our own people in chattel slavery. They would be in what's it called? Like as a hired servant. Now, if they were in a form of bond, they could be that for stealing, because if you stole, you actually go into slavery to pay off your debt. Okay, so there's different ways that the slavery can come about. It says here bonded labor, indentured, otherwise known as bonded labor or debt bondage, is a form of unfree labor under which a person pledges himself against a loan. So someone could put themselves into captivity to pay off something, like if they stole. But that's a form of debt. When you steal is a form of debt, and I believe the Bible says you were supposed to pay 7 times the value of what you stole. But what if you ain't got it? Well, guess what? You're gonna have to go into slavery to pay it off.
Yeah. Just like that old concept of like you can't pay the bill when you're washing dishes, man. You're gonna get put to work to pay that off. It's the same concept. Because you owe a debt. Yep.
I wanted to get Abraham as an example. So we can get you got something? Yeah. Okay.
Let's start from 12, verse 16. This is Genesis 12, verse 16. And he entreated Abram word for our sake, and he had sheep and oxen and he asses and men servants.
Right.
And
he had men servants. Now it doesn't say the particulars, but we already looked up what the word. In fact, can you look at the word servant? He said he had men servants, meaning he had men under him, men that were working for him, men that when him said do so, them do so. Yeah, he didn't have they weren't equal to him. They were his servants. They did what they were told. Now, some of them could have been hired servants, because you could hire someone to come in like a mercenary is considered a hired servant. You're bringing him in to do a particular job, security, whatever, then he leaves when the job is done. But in a lot of time in the ancient world, they would have servants that they would buy, and these were permanent servants. These were people that would be in your household permanently for the rest of their foreseeable life, unless you freed them or sold them. Now, you know, to the average person, oh, that's crazy, but there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, not according to the law, unless you're doing it to another Israelite. You can have bondmen and bondwomen. So when he says that Abraham had men servants, he would have had hired servants, he would have had bond servants, because this was a normality of a great man that had a large house. This is the reality of the world. Okay, did you get that?
Yeah, it's the same word.
It's the same word,
Yeah,
right? And then it breaks down what it means.
Yep.
Yeah. So go on.
and he entreated, Genesis 12 and 16. And he entreated Abram well for our sake, and he had sheep and oxen and he asses and men servants.
Right, so he had livestock, and he had men servants. And what was the purpose of those men servants? Because remember, Abraham didn't have no children. And by the way, your children are also servants to you. The scripture tells you that a son shouldn't treat his mother and his father as masters. Because in the ancient world, really, when you, as a child, you were a servant
To the house.
to your father. Your mother and father could tell you what to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you see, those concepts are no longer here, because Esau has degraded the idea of the level of authority that a mother and a father, especially a father, should have in the household. The average person, they just do what they want to do. They're individuals, they're independent, they go where they want to go. You know what I'm saying? By the time they get to the age of 8, the parents really can't tell them nothing. They're more like it's like a democracy going on. You know, you understand what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, what do you want for dinner?
what do you want? Yeah, what do you do?
You know?
You know what I'm saying? Like, in the ancient world, you had the power to control who your son married, who your daughter married, and they would obey you according to that, because they looked at you with reverence and they understood they were servants unto you.
Yep.
They would prostrate and bow themselves down to their parents. That's actually in our culture, to prostrate and bow before your parents, man, and show them that level of respect. But that obviously doesn't exist today, so people would think that's weird, or you know what I'm saying? In fact, let me see if I can get that scripture real quick.
Well, I just wanted to go do this, right? Because the same word had a root word. Like, it's spelled the same way in Hebrew, right? But it says in the root, it says here to work, serve. The word servant means to work. That's what they're there for, to do, to work, right? To serve, to labor, work, do work, to work for another,
Yeah.
serve another by labor.
Right, because wasn't Jacob at home and his sons were in the field taking care of the cattle with the rest of the servants?
Yep.
But when you got sons, what do you think? That's labor for you. When you got sons and daughters, they do work in the household. But then to make your household even greater, when you got a wife as well, you could bring in other servants and own other servants. Right? Let me just get that scripture I mentioned earlier, just so you have the reference. Sirach 3:7, it says, He that feareth the Lord will honor his father and will do service unto his parents as to his masters. Alright? You also got the idea of the wife. Right? The wife is a servant. Right? But guess what? What you find out is the greater the man becomes, the less the wife has to do. So then the wife has her own servants. And then you'd have something called the grinder of the meal. So if you was a poor man and you only had your one wife, your wife would wake up like 4 in the morning or like 5 in the morning grinding meal. But if you went to a rich man's house, the wife weren't grinding no meal. They had servants that were underneath the wife that would wake up in the morning and grind the meal.
Yep. The dainty hands.
So it depends on the structure of the household. But again, the greater your house is, inevitably you're going to have hired servants and bond servants. Now in this society, they'll make it where it's illegal, so you can't have a bond servant. But in ancient world, you would. Guys like LeBron James and that, with the money they have, they'll go somewhere and buy a servant. Their maid would be bought. They wouldn't be paying them a wage. She would live in the house, and she would be a bond woman. You see?
Yep. More examples here, right? It says to serve God, to serve Levitical service, to be worked, to be tilled of land, to make oneself a servant, to be worked, to compel to labor or work. And that's the power we have. We have the power to compel to labor, or we will have. You know, you will do work based on what we say, what we tell you to do. And you know, the concept sounds crazy, man, but like, what happens when you go to your job? You got your bosses over you, they tell you what you're gonna do. If you don't do it, guess what? You're going home, no pay. You know? That's the only difference. You get to go home. But you know, in the H world, this place would be on, where you work would be where you are, where you live at.
Where's that bit where Abraham's servants was beefing with Lot's servants?
Or where they were jostling
Where's
with
that
the
bit
land.
again? It's Genesis.
Yeah, I can find it.
Yeah, because you know what that shows you. Abraham had a lot of servants, man.
Yeah.
And then so we can make some, because certain things in the scriptures is not written, but you have to use a little bit of what's it called? You got to read in between the lines. If Abraham's servants, do you think that when Abraham died, that those servants just disappeared and they all ran away? No, those servants became the inheritance of Isaac. See, when you read this, they read the scriptures, they always portray it to you like, oh, okay, they might show Isaac and it's just Isaac and Rebecca just on their own. Are you mad? Listen, no, Isaac and Rebecca, Isaac inherited like a whole function, a whole traveling community of servants. That was because Abraham had that. Abraham wasn't just some bum moving through the desert. The man had servants. He had military men. He had, the scripture says, he had trained men, meaning he had a military contingent like the Zetas. Yeah, he had his own military. That's why he could command respect from kings, because what do kings have? Kings have servants that work in their house. They have, you know, their maids. They got their concubines, but they have a military. They got man that they have, and their house is so great that they got man that the only thing these men are paid for is to war. Security. Even today it's like that. When you go to these super rich dudes, they have man that they hire. That's their whole purpose. They don't cook food. They don't cut grass. Their purpose is to stand there with the sticky. And if a man act foolish, then you know what has to happen. Yeah? You got it?
Yeah. Okay.
So if you got trained military men, you know you're on a high level, because only the highest level men are gonna have people there specifically for their security. And even in this world, it's the same thing.
Yeah, go straight to the point, or man, stop. A little bit up.
Yeah, whatever you want to do, man.
This is the book of Genesis 13 and 2. And Abraham was very rich in cattle and cattle, in silver and in gold. And he went on his journey from the south even to Bethel, and to the place where his tent had been at the beginning, between Bethel and Ai, and to the place of the altar which he had made there at the first. And there Abraham called on the name of the Lord. And Lot also, which went with Abraham, had flocks and herds and tents.
Now you can't have all that by yourself. Yeah. You can't imagine you're one man and you got like 500 sheep, yeah, and you know you need help. So in this case, these men, they had other slaves that they owned. Your children and your slaves, that's what gets things done. That's how business works. Business, when you conduct in business, in order for your business to be great, you need servants. It increases your productivity tenfold. I remember, who said that to me? He said, the elder Ariella, he said that to me. He said, yo, bro, do you realize how much more productive your household would be if you just had one person that was in your house to do all the things that you have to put time towards, to wash all the dishes, to cut the grass. You think about it, because time is money. That's why they say time is money. When you got someone doing that, then you can then use your time, not to just lay around doing nothing, but now you can do other things and expand. And then once you build that, you get someone else to do that, and then you keep going. So
that's how business build and work.
That's exactly how business is build and work, right? And then so Lot, he had all them sheep and that. You need someone to watch over them. You need shepherds for that. Yeah, go on.
And the land was not able to bear them, that they might dwell together, for their substance was great, so that they could not dwell together. And there was a strife between the herdman of Abraham.
So Abraham had herdmen. So between Lot's herdmen and Abraham, so he had herdmen, servants. And a lot of them would have been bond servants. I'm telling you, because it wasn't how you guys react to it now. Like, start losing your minds. Yeah, like man's had money. You just go to a market and you buy a bunch of slaves. Simple. That's it. You bought slaves like how you buy water and you know what I mean? Alcohol. You know what I'm saying? Okay, come, you work for me now for the rest of your life, and your children are gonna work for me too. That's how it was. Go on up.
It's better than be out on the street. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, what did Kublai say to Marco Polo? Like, you should be honored to work in my house. You're damn straight. Yeah. Go on.
And there was a
You
strife.
couldn't understand it. He was like, oh, this guy don't want to be a slave in my house. This is guy for real.
And there was a strife between the herdman of Abraham's cattle and the herdman of Lot's cattle. And the Canaanites and the Perizzites dwelled then in the land. And Abraham said unto Lot, let there be no strife, I pray thee, between me and thee, and between my herdman and thy herdman, for we be brethren. Is not the whole land before thee? Separate thyself, I pray thee, from me. If thou wilt take the left hand, then I will go to the light. Or if thou depart to the right hand, then I will go to the left.
There you go. There you go. Now, so when we're getting down to the time of Isaac, Isaac had servants too. Isaac got the chief inheritance from Abraham, so he took the double portion, man. So he had the servants, he had everything he needed. So how do you think Jacob grew up? Jacob and Esau, see, people, they might have it in their mind, oh, like, yeah, it was some dirty little tent, and you had Isaac and Rebecca there chilling in some dirty tent somewhere, and then they were just two boys outside the tent running around. Nah, it wasn't like that at all. Really, Jacob and Esau were two princes. We come from money, man. Can we get that? Is Jacob is he a homeborn slave? We come from money, man. We don't come. You see, these people, they get emotional if you don't grow up poor. That's something that Jake do. If you don't grow up poor, like that's a badge of honor. Like I'm from the streets, you know. I grew up, you know, I had to put water in the cornflakes. Ain't nobody give a fuck about all that. And then if you're a Jake that grows up with money, they look down on you like, oh, but
you don't know.
But your dad was rich, and bro, your dad's supposed to be rich. Yeah, what are you talking about? Who said that you needed to grow up like some punk, like a brokey? Where did that come into the game? That's how Jake's mind is so messed up. You're supposed to be born with a silver spoon in your mouth. What are you meant to be doing, like?
Hey, what are you?
Exactly. How you think our forefathers grew up? You think Jacob and especially our forefather Jacob, you think he grew up broke? Is that what you believe? Isaac had peas, man.
We've lost both. You know what I'm saying? We've lost it all. We've been taken.
When they went to get Rebecca, my man had so many jewels, he was handing out jewels to Rebecca's family. Like, there's a diamond for you, there's a ruby for you. It's in the story, bro. We need to get that. Let me see. Listen, Abraham had peas. So you think Isaac was broke? So then what, you think Jacob was broke? They grew up like, oh, this belly hungry. Come on, man. Like, nah. Let's keep it real. We're only in this brokey situation because we disobeyed Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, but there's nothing good about it. There's nothing to be, oh yeah, you know, yeah, I grew up rough. I don't give a fuck if you grew up rough, man. I don't want, listen, do you want your kids to grow up rough? Come on, man.
It's meant to be a reminder, man. The curses.
Cursed individual,
you know?
Man.
But it's the same like the pregnancy and the labor pains, man. You know, women wear that as a bad honor, but you're going to remind you of the wickedness that happened, you know, that transpired.
Oh, you okay? Go on. I was about to get it.
On the book of Genesis 24 and the second from 1, it says, "What? And Abraham was old and well stricken in age, and the Lord had blessed Abraham in all things. And Abraham said unto his elder servants,"
so this would have been his head servant, you know, a trusted servant in his house, who would have been, as it's gonna say, I believe it's gonna say he was a ruler in his house. So he was like, even though he was Abraham's servant, right? He was like a head servant over the, like how you get them when you go into the head butler, you get like in a royal home, you get the butler, but that butler is actually controlling all the other guys.
Man like Alfred in Batman, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, what's his name? What's that dude? Yeah, what's that guy from Django, blood? Stephen.
Oh yeah, Stephen. Yeah. He was in the higher place in that house for a slave.
Yeah, that's why they didn't like a lot of the house Negroes, because some of them house Negroes, they had position, you know? Favor, yeah. And it's always gonna be like that. Even when we're in the kingdom, you're gonna have certain slaves that's gonna be over certain other slaves, man. Have an authority. You know what I mean? All this equality stuff, it doesn't actually happen in real life. Go on out.
and Abraham said unto his elder servants of his house that ruled over all that he had, put, I pray thee, thy hand under my thigh, and I will make thee swear by the Lord, the power of heaven and the power of the earth, that thou shalt not take a wife unto my son of the daughters of the Canaanites among whom I dwell.
Right, so he never wanted his son, and there's nothing wrong with that. Nowadays on me, oh, he's a bigger, you know, this is the bullshit that you got to deal with now. If you were to show any form of disapproval, right, towards a choice like that in today's society, if they made this into a movie today, Abraham would be the villain. He would be the villain. Oh, you know,
he shouldn't have a say.
He's trying to oppress Isaac. He said it's forbidden love. What are you talking about, man? You of course you're damn right. There was a reason he didn't want Isaac to be with them nasty ass Canaanites, man. I mean, he did business with them. You could do business with someone and not want to marry into them because you know that they goofy as hell. Them Canaanites were goofy, blood. Yeah?
And you want his son to stay right in the mind, man.
He didn't want it. He wanted to get someone that was from your own culture, that had some kind of understanding, that was a relative. He didn't want to get with them nasty ass Canaanites, man. Yeah. And now, if I guarantee, if they made a movie today, everyone will be on Twitter, down with the patriarchy, this, that, and the other. Even though he's saying it about his son, down with the patriarchy.
Well, it kind of reminds me a little bit like what Coming to America, man. You know, obviously the king didn't want him to, you know, to be with this.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
And he
In
was
America,
like the
but-
bad guy for it.
Yeah.
No, he was right though. He was 100% right.
Mm.
Even Romeo and Juliet, that bullshit story. You respect your parents, man.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so he said he didn't want and he gave that job not to Isaac. Isaac didn't have nothing to do.
Servant.
He said that he gave it to his servant to go get man a wife and bring her back so that Isaac can get married, man.
Yep.
Now today they'd have to romanticize it. There's no need for no romance. Isaac love Rebecca anyway. But you see now they have to sell it like this bullshit, like oh they had to meet in Starbucks and fuck out of here, man. It's bullshit, man.
But thou shalt go unto my country, unto my kindred, and to take wife unto my son Isaac.
Right, so basically that means going to the land of land Syria. I was gonna say the land Syria, which is Aram. Now, was Abraham from Aram? Because it says that your father was a Syrian, right? Was Abraham and his family actually Syrians? No, they weren't. They were dwelling. They were dwelling in that land, right? They were actually Hebrews, but they were dwelling among the Aram. All right, and they actually spoke Aramaic as well, because they would have one name for one thing, which is in being the Hebrew, and they'd have another name which was in the Aramaic. That's recorded in the story as well. So Laban and all them man, they weren't Aram, they were Hebrews. However, the scriptures do refer to Abraham as that Syrian. You know, your father was a Syrian and so forth. But he was talking about his own kindred that was still living in that place.
And it's not uncommon in the scriptures, man. Someone will be named after the land they came out of. He's a Hebrew, he's an Israelite, but that's where he dwells. Oh yeah, that of the Canaanites. But he's not a Canaanite. He's just living in a particular region. You know, it's very common in the scriptures, man. You might want to get bugged out and shit.
Yeah, that's why you gotta read with understanding. Go on up.
Let me jump down to 53. This is Genesis 24 and 53. And the servant brought forth jewels.
Jewels.
Yeah. And the servant brought forth jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment, and gave them to Rebekah. He gave also to our
So
brother.
hold on. Rebecca already came in blinging. He man gave it to Rebecca. So yeah, okay. Because they asked her and they gave her a choice, which that's allowed. You're allowed to give your daughter a choice. They gave her a choice and she chose. So these people that go all crazy and lose their damn minds, listen, bro, if you want to give your daughter a choice, that's on you, innit? No one ain't said you don't have to. Stop crying and acting like a bitch. No one ain't. This is what I hate. You know, people just take everything to the extreme level, man. It's up to you. It's your house. Man, I ain't trying to tell you what to do. But if you want to put your foot down, you can. That's your prerogative. Okay? If you don't want to do that, that's fine. I'm not going to argue with you, bro. Do what you got to do. That's your family. But they gave Rebecca a choice. Rebecca made the choice, and the man just started throwing jewels on her, man, before she even got there. Damn.
Well, you know, it's like a damn. Because he said like, oh, my master's great. You know what I'm saying? So it's evidence. You know what I'm saying? Like evidence, man.
He started throwing jewels, but he didn't just start throwing jewels at her. He started throwing jewels around the room. Like, hey, hold on.
Everyone's blessed. Everyone's blessed.
Throwing it around. Man's like, God damn. They're
So-
doing
so
good over there.
So everyone got up to that. Everyone got blessed. You know what I'm saying? That everyone's house got
Brand new chaps,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
nose rings, all that. Bangle. Looking like Dal Sin. Hey, go on now. Hey, this is where we come from, man. Look what we're reading here. We don't come from like being completely bummy, man. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, these were men of stature, man. These weren't no dudes living on the street like begging for bread. The Lord blessed those men.
They were great men.
They were great men, and we were supposed to continue that greatness and that blessing. But guess what? We transgressed, and that's why the Lord has translated us down into this bummy ass estate that we got to live in right now. But even now, Jake just it's in them. They want the nicer things in life. The black woman, the Hispanic woman, they all want the nicer things, man. They're dying for it. They go Dubai for it. Jake dying for the money and the Lamborghini and to be somebody, not understanding that it's easy. You could be someone. Just be obedient unto Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, and the Lord gonna have us rolling like Abraham was rolling. Simple. Going on.
And he gave them to Rebekah. He gave also to our brother and to our mother precious things. And they did eat and drink, he and the men that were with him, and tarried all
But,
night.
and the men, so he didn't travel alone. The man had a gang with him. Gang business, yeah? Couple man there ready to, you know, ready to get. That's another thing that's part of these Christians. Listen, man. Listen, David and them, man, they had man there that was ready to put people's heads off, man. No doubt. That's part of the scriptures too. So when these Christians try to make it look like, now we have to understand that right now, because of what we've done, the Lord has us being humble and all that kind. But when we're in the kingdom, all that humble stuff, we're gonna be humble, but we're gonna have killers, man. We're gonna have people that execute people for real. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's kings have executioners, man. They have military men that okay, that guy has to die, and then they're gonna die. It's not gonna be all these niceties that people think about, man. You know, the Lord Himself that said that I would not reign over them, bring hither and slay before me.
Yeah.
Think about that. And that's Yahweh Shai quote. So that's also part of it. Abraham had those men, hitmen, dagger man. Anyway, go on.
To perform them justices, man.
So yeah,
Yeah.
it's necessary.
And tarried all night, and they rose up in the morning, and he said, Send me away
Is that
unto my
charging?
master. Send me away unto my master.
Unto his master. So he called Abraham his master, man. You know what I mean? It's just like getting emotional, getting flashbacks about Kunta Kinte. Listen, in the kingdom, we're gonna have enough man calling us master. You vocab, you're gonna be one of them. You're gonna be called. Not like now. You can walk around all proud. You're gonna be calling one of us master. Yeah, that's just how it's gonna be. That's how it's gonna be, bro. Yes, master. Yes, my lord. You're gonna be addressing man properly, and there's nothing wrong with that. Go on.
And our brother and our mother said, Let the damsel abide with us a few days, at the least 10. After that she shall go.
Yeah, because the chances of them really seeing her again for a very long time was, you know, because it's not like now where man can hit the private jet up or
Wait, they next door to them.
they live quite far, so you know.
The servant travelled away to be there in the first place.
Exactly. So
And they said, We will call the damsel and inquire at her mouth. And they called Rebekah and said unto her, Wilt thou go with this man? And she said, I will go. And they sent away Rebekah, their sister, and her nurse, and Abraham's servants, and his men. And they blessed Rebekah and said unto her, Thou art our sister, be thou the mother of thousands of millions, and let thy seed possess the gate of those which hate them.
Right, and you see, they were talking in the spirit because whose seed was she gonna bear? Isaac's seed, and that seed would be Jacob. So, because it's not saying that the woman had seed, you understand? She was gonna bear a seed, and that seed was Isaac's seed, which is Abraham's seed, which was gonna be Jacob. So they were already speaking in the spirit, and we know it ain't talking about Esau, because Esau ain't gonna possess the gate of his enemies. Because going back into Numbers, the 24th chapter, we know that Jacob is the one that's going to possess the gate. So they were speaking in the spirit that blessing upon Rebekah was going to come because of go through Rebekah from Isaac into Jacob. Yeah,
And that's why Israel became that nation as sand as the sea.
and it's funny because Rebekah loved Jacob, man. Rebekah hooked Jacob up, man. She didn't like Esau, man. I understand. Floppy head, you know what I mean? Looking weird.
Yeah.
And Rebekah rose and her damsel, and they load upon the camels and followed the man. And the servant took Rebekah and went his way. And Isaac came from the way of the world, Lahai Loi, for he dwelt in the south country.
And you know Isaac was looking blinging. Listen, Isaac was wearing the best garments, man. Like I said, man, yeah, you really got to put your mind back to what we're dealing with. Isaac was a wealthy man. He wasn't no bum. He was a prince. So you know he was decked out with the best, yeah, the best garments that a man could wear. Jewels. Well, we know they had jewels because they were handing out the jewels like it was nothing, man.
Candy, man.
Like it was flowers, man, just throwing up around the place. So you know he was icy. He was looking, he was dripped out, no doubt.
And Isaac went out to meditate in the field at eventide, and he lifted up his eyes and saw, and behold, the camels were coming. And Rebekah lifted up her eyes, and when she saw Isaac, she lightened off the camel. For she had said unto the servant, What man is this that walketh in the field?
What a man, what a man, what a man, what a mighty good man. Go on, man. Yo, that, you get me? Go on.
What is this man walketh in the field to meet us? And the servants had said, It is my master's. Therefore, she took a veil and covered herself. And the servant told Isaac all things that he had done. And Isaac brought her into his mother Sarah.
Right, he took her into his mother Sarah's tent, which she was probably gonna have now. Yeah.
And took Rebekah, and she became his wife.
Now I ain't gotta go into too much detail, but we know how marriages are consummated. Simple. Yeah.
And he loved her, and Isaac was comforted after his mother's death.
I bet he was. Yeah. All right. And then so from Isaac came Jacob and Esau, and Isaac was a rich man. So Jacob and Esau, they grew up with money. Can we get that? Is it Jacob a homeboy? So we're people that always grew up that way. Even and then when you read in the story, Jacob went to Laban and he ended up building up his own substance out of Laban. So when he came back,
Yeah, because Mama had to dash.
he had to leave.
We had to dash, man.
Yeah,
He couldn't
he
take all of that.
couldn't take it. So then when he still came back with riches from Laban, to the point where he was ready to give Esau some. And if he had all them flocks, man, and he had them sons, but they had men with them too, no doubt. They were princes, man. They were nice. Went down into Egypt and got more blessed, like, you know what I'm saying? More money, more, come on. That's how they were able to be even to go down into Egypt. We don't really tell you in the story that money was a problem for them.
No.
Not like us now. We're going, shit. The money wasn't a
They
problem.
mentioned them, you know, everyone else was running out of money.
Yeah, they were fine, but they had peace. They just didn't have food, so they just go buy some.
Alright, this is from Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 14. So is Israel a servant? Is he a homeborn slave? Why is he spoiled?
That's right. With Jake right now, they got a weirdo mentality, man. So they don't have a rulership mindset because they don't understand where they come from. You know what I'm saying? And listen, man, we gotta go back to the root of the situation, man. All right, the root of the situation is we're supposed to be running our own thing. We're supposed to have our own lands, everything our own, and we're supposed to have slaves on top of that and running our own thing, running the whole world, to be honest. The whole world's supposed to be our domain to rule over and to manage, which comes with a large responsibility to receive knowledge and wisdom. But Jake don't really care about none of them things. Jake could just care about the most stupidest things. Jake just want to run around, show off, like children, basically. You know, just happy for Esau to be running everything and doing everything. And then look what Esau's doing. Jake could just be on the plantation, man, trying to get to the bag. When you're a ruler, you ain't worrying about getting to the bag. You already got the bag. You maintaining the bag and growing and being productive. Building cities and building towns and things like that. Jake ain't about building no cities.
You know.
As soon as Jake get money, what does Jake do? Jake buy products. Jake don't build nothing up. Cause their mindset is not like that. You got something?
No, I was thinking of something, but it's not.
Oh, fine. You got something? Right, so read that again about is Jake?
Slave,
Yeah. And then we're gonna get more on the slavery thing.
Is Jeremiah 2 and 14 again says, is Israel a servant? Is he a homeborn slave? Why is he spoiled? Because that is not where we come from. We're not supposed to be underneath the nations. Okay, Deuteronomy 7:6 says we're meant to be above the nations. You know? So we're meant to have the best of all things. You know? Because right now Esau's in charge, he got the best of everything, right? The elites, you know, sipping the cognac and whatever from like, I don't know, 1,000 years ago, I don't know. You know, they got all the best stuff. Because they're on top. We're meant to be there. Right? And our family, as you read, as a reading, man, we never come from no poor background. You know?
And we had slaves and servants from the beginning, man.
That's it. You know, and the Lord blessed us in all our goings, man. You know, to the point where He didn't.
Yeah. Then we became the slaves and servants.
That's it.
Oh, man's having a picnic and the dogs will come buzzing around. I hate that. Anyway, can we get Exodus the 12th chapter and
12, yeah.
no 12
21.
and yeah, Exodus 12. And 35. Alright? Because even when we came out of Egypt, we came out of Egypt with riches, man. Came out of Egypt with riches and slaves, and I'm gonna show you that. Yeah? We had a workforce. It's called the mix. These guys always have to talk about this mixed multitude. Like, what do you think that man would, what do you think? We just had man tagging along for no reason. Like we're leaving Egypt now because these men have violated man for 400 years. And we're just gonna have a bunch of man walking next to man like doing nothing. What do you think they were like? What do you really think was going on? These people, this mixed multitude, they were putting themselves in servitude underneath us, man. And I'm gonna prove it because they were numbered with the cattle, man. Tell me I'm lying. All right, let's read it. These people like, oh, the mixed multitude. What? So what? Where were the mixed multitude? What, did they get voting rights or something? Were they equals? This mixed multitude, did they receive inheritance? Were they of the children of Israel? I don't get it. Did the Lord made a covenant with the mixed multitude? So what was their purpose? What were they there for? They were going to serve. They were going to live amongst us and serve in our land because they didn't have no land of their own. They were not to receive inheritance. When Joshua was handing out the land, he didn't say, oh, you mixed multitude, this is yours.
Nope.
Blasphemy.
Nothing.
Nah, yeah. Blasphemy. Nah, you men are working for us. Like, you live where you get a piece on my land because you work for me.
You're gonna be where I need you to be.
Now, a lot of you might think, no, that's horrible. Again, like, you gotta grow up.
They weren't
man.
living horrible, man.
You gotta grow up, man.
You know what I mean?
They got bread.
There's one of them was getting Egypt at one point.
Yeah, they said, listen, we want to get, you men are on site and we want to go with you.
The Lord is blessing
Hey,
you.
even when you go to a job, they want you to tell them why you want to join the company. Well, you know, I've read up on the company. I believe that you guys are doing good things in the world of electronics, and the CEO, that's how they were going. Well, why you want to come? Yeah, well, you Israelites, you got
Lord's
Egypt
with you.
down bad, so
Lord's with
you
you,
know,
man.
we gotta. We're coming with you, man. All right, cool.
Because our goings where we was gonna be blessed, and they naturally, even though they're not nothing to do with Israel, Israel and nothing like that. Naturally, they will get a come up of that, just being around us.
Yeah, we run the thing proper, innit?
That's it.
Yeah, we run it proper. Just pick up that wood and do what you got to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
So this is Exodus 12 and verse 35. So, and the children of Israel did according to the word of Moses, and they took of the Egyptians jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment.
So the Lord's about money too. Like, so we don't hate money out here in the way of, we're not supposed to have no money. It just says that the love of money is the root of all evil. So money is not the end all and be all. But the Lord blessed our people with riches before, and He's gonna bless our people with riches again. And it's nothing for the Lord to do that. Literally, when the Lord comes back instantly, all these things that the nations have, the Rothschilds, the gold, and this, we're gonna have all that. We're gonna melt it down. Obviously, we can't have it with their little stupid insignias on there. So we're gonna have to melt it all down and put our own insignia on there. But we're gonna have our gold and silver and all, just like when we came out of Egypt. The Lord gave us everything we needed. We didn't come out of Egypt empty-handed. We had gold. We came out with gold, cattle, everything we needed. Whatever was left, we came out with. Practicalities. And the same thing's going to happen with the kingdom of heaven. The Lord's going to provide everything we need to kick it off like a ball, including labor. Because that's important.
Very important.
It's important to have workmen. Man, we can mash our earth. Man can mix a mortar. Yeah? It's true though, isn't it? You need people to do shit. Like, hey, this brother here, he's doing his garden, man. If you had to do it all by yourself, man, it's peak.
Bro, I wouldn't bother. We do bits and pieces, you know, that's what else I can come do the rest of it.
Yeah, you gotta get the man them in to work while you do something else.
Mm-hmm.
Go on, though.
Is it Exorcist?
Oh, you know a good film to show you that is? The Kingdom of Heaven. With Orlando Bloom. And you see when he inherited that estate, he didn't just come to the estate by himself and empty-handed. He had some silver on him, right? And he had the estate, and he brought in the slaves, yeah. And then he was down there, and they fixed the place up, man. That's what we gonna do. You need them servants, brother. I can't do it, just my daughters, man. I need. Anyway, go on.
Verse 37. And the children of Israel journeyed from Ramses to Succoth, about 600,000 on foot that were men, beside children. And a mixed multitude went up also with them.
Yeah, fucking heathens.
And flocks and herds, and even very much cattle.
There you go. They were mentioned with the flocks and the cattle because that's what they were. Yeah. They were servants, man. They joined themselves onto us to be servants, and that's how it's gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, yeah, go on.
This is for Joshua 9. I'm starting from the top. From the,
Oh yeah, are you getting the hewers?
Yeah.
Okay, let's get that. Cause see, this is another example now.
And it came to pass when all the kings which were on this side Jordan, in the hills and in the valleys, and in all the coast of the great sea over against Lebanon, the Hittites and the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites heard thereof, that they gathered themselves together to fight with Joshua and with Israel with one accord. And when the inhabitants of Gibeon heard what Joshua had done unto Jericho and to Hai, they did work wearily, and went and made as if they had been ambassadors.
Yeah, so they were like, listen, man. Listen, them man got murked. Yeah, they heard about what happened at Ai. They said, listen, them Ai man, they were some serious guys, but they man got took out. So we need to find a way to survive, because obviously it's not worth it, innit? And I can't wrong them. You get me? You read the story, you're like, you know what? Was it worth dying for? You know what I'm saying? So just sometimes
we gotta do something to avoid the destruction, you know.
Sometimes you gotta make that choice, man. Listen, you know, you gotta try something else, because
let's fight another day type thing.
this sort of thing ain't gonna work. It's not gonna work, veteran. You get me? They said nah.
We must make league with them.
Yeah, you gotta find something to do. Fair enough. You know, there's no shame in it.
Smart.
Yeah, good move, good play. Good.
And took hold sacks and upon their horses, and one bottles, hold and length, and bound up, and hold shoes and clothed upon their feet, and hold garment upon them, and all the bread of their provision was dry and mold. And they went to Joshua unto the camp at Gilgal, and said unto him, unto the men of Israel, we be come from a far country.
Yeah, because they didn't want them to know that they were basically Canaanites, because the Lord specifically told Joshua and them to make no league.
Okay.
It's either them man flee and leave the land. Yeah, that was their options. They run, pack up and leave, or death. That was the only two options that they had. There weren't no, oh well, tribute. No, it was meant to be the land, we're taking this land. Yeah, see this land right here, it's now ours. So your options are pack up and put your little stick, you know, and you put you get your stick and you wrap the cloth around it and you put it on your thing and you just start walking. Either you do that or you die. So them man tried to come with a different thing to make it look like they weren't Canaanites, they weren't part of that, so that they could try and get a deal. Oh no.
We become a far country, now therefore make ye league with us. And the men of Israel said unto the Hivites, peradventure ye dwell among us, and how shall we make a league with you? And they said unto Joshua, We are thy servants. And Joshua said unto them, Who are ye, and from whence come ye? And they said unto him, From a very far country. Thy servants are come because of the name of the Lord thy power. For we have heard the fame of him and all that he did in Egypt, and all that he did to the two kings of the Amorites that were beyond Jordan, to Sihon, king of Heshbon, and to Og, king of Bashan, which was Ashtaroth. Wherefore our herder and all the inhabitants of our country spake to us, saying, Take victual with you for the journey, and go to meet them, and say unto them, We are your servants. Therefore now make ye league with us. I may jump down.
Yeah, come.
So they were plotting, man, to get that favor, man, so they wouldn't get destroyed. They're being deceptive, you know. So again, we're smart on their side of things, man. But
You can't blame them.
nah, you know, faced with inevitable destruction. There's not even you could do. Yeah.
This is Joshua 9:25. And now behold, we are in thine hand, as it seems good. It seems good and light unto thee to do unto us, do. And so did he unto them, and delivered them out of the land of the hand of the children of Israel, that they threw them not. And Joshua made them that day hewers of wood and drawers of waters for the congregation.
So what did Joshua make them? What did Joshua make them? Slaves.
Yeah.
Start getting emotional. Slavery's bad. But Joshua's a man of the Lord. He was blessed by Moses, man. Moses is like, yo, you the man. The Most High blessed him. Like, yeah, you taking over from me. You gonna be filled with the Spirit. You gonna bring the judgment. The man just turned these people into slaves. Let's read that again. Like, this is in the scriptures. So this idea of, you know, having this reaction to slavery, like, because you watch Roots, okay, we get it. And yeah, we hate the Esau for what he did to our people. But don't make that, like, overdo it. Don't overdo it now, where it's like, oh, so now we can't fulfill our right to have people as slaves. That's foolishness. There's nothing wrong with it.
And Joshua 9:27 again. And Joshua made them that day hewers of wood and drawers of water for the congregation and for the altar of the Lord, even unto this day, in the place which he should choose.
Even unto this day. So that means it wasn't just them. It was their children. So their children, their children's children, forever they will always be slaves, bondmen and bondwomen. That's what Joshua did. And then you know how you go, because Solomon started killing. Was it Solomon? No, not wasn't Solomon. Saul. I believe Saul started killing them for no reason. And then and it's saying he broke the covenant, because they were supposed to be able to, because in return for being slaves, they would be able to live in peace. You know, we weren't just gonna just roll up and lop man's head off for no reason. Like, come on, calm down. Like, that's Esau. Yeah, it's just that, yo, dog, man, need some water. I have to go get the water, man, or whatever it is, man. Whatever menial task that we need doing, that's what they were there for.
Yep.
Yeah, and there are menial tasks that needs doing.
What for them?
Yeah, when you want to clear a field, you need man that's gonna
Strong with the rake.
do the thing. Like, what's going on here? All right, you need labor, human resources. Like, it's necessary.
See, in this world, you know, Esau just, you know, he making everything, machines do it, AI doing it, it's automated, you know. But what's happening? More and more people are getting left out of the loop, man. More and more people are becoming poor, getting pushed into poverty.
Unemployed.
Yeah, unemployment. But it's not meant to be like that. Everyone meant to have a job to do. There's lots of things to do. You know, but Esau don't care about order. He don't care about, you know.
Man, rubbish that's all over the place.
Yeah,
all
man.
over the, come on. Like back home on the islands,
Esau don't
man,
want to pay you.
that's one way you could get money. On the islands, say like there's a road, probably where you come from as well. If there's a road and it's all overgrown, you could go cut it back and go tell the authorities, okay, I did this road, they'll pay for it because they need it done, innit? And they'll give you money. Okay, you cut that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so that's another example. And then those guys were slavery forever. It's perpetual slavery. They're children as well. They were born into slavery. Now, when did the Lord say, "Oh, Joshua, what you did wasn't right.
Man.
You know, come on, man. You made them guys into slaves."
You're using your authority. Man.
You know what I'm saying? No, like the Lord was with it. It was judgment, it was righteousness, and again, can we get the law? Yeah.
I was gonna say, man, because you understand, it's the Most High that gave them to him, gave them to us.
Rightfully so.
It's part of a blessing the Most High gave us servants, man.
Bro, even in the scriptures, when we conquered them nations, right? Before we went into the land, it was was it the Midianites? Who was it that we messed up? Who was it again? That violated, and then we had to deal with them. And then the scripture said we spared all the children, the women that had not known the men, and all the little ones, which would have been all the young boys and all that stuff.
For sure.
Fuck. Where is that? Let me.
Time of Saul.
No. This is when we was before we got crossed over. Before we went into that area.
It might be this one.
No. It's not gonna be. It's gonna be Exodus. It's gonna be.
Well, I mean, they were fighting them on the mountain. And
This one. Try that one. Yeah. Yes, this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, this is another example of slavery. So let's deal with this.
Right. This is Numbers 31. I'm just going to start with verse 7 here, right? It says, "And they warred against the Midianites as the Lord commanded Moses,
See, it was the Midianites, yeah.
and they slew all the males."
Right. So the males, I'm talking about the fighting men and the men of age. They got dealt with. They got slaughtered. Yeah. The Lord never said you can't do that. That's why the Bible says thou shalt not murder. It doesn't say thou shalt not kill because there's a time to kill. Just like in the kingdom of heaven, there's going to be a time to kill. You Edomites are going to understand this perfectly because you're going to be getting slaughtered up and punished in such fashions. Tortured.
Isaiah 7 and 14. Or 14 and 7. 7 and 14.
Yeah?
Their story for his children.
So there was war, man slaughtered up. Imagine, man dealt with all the man, old man, whatever. The man got dealt with and got eradicated. And who was left? All the young men that can't war. They look at you, them. Look at toddlers and all them something there.
Pick me them.
The little picnic them got spared, and the young women. Now, once you take them, you could do what you want with them because they are now your property.
Yep.
So obviously, some of the women you could take for concubines. Some of them you just have them as maids,
In the field,
grinding
yeah.
meal. Well, both. It's up to you. You know what I'm saying? With the young men would have become what? Slaves in your house. Man say, yo, you owe that one there, you owe that one there, and you raise him up in your house like how that pussy, well, not like him. What was that dude? Well, actually, no, that's not a good example. I was going to think of the dude from Game of Thrones when he got raised up among the Starks, but they kind of dealt with him good.
All right, yeah.
But there was another example. I can't think of one right now, but you would just raise him up in your house and he's a slave. He knows he's not of the house in terms of he's not a blood of the house, but he's part of the house in the way of he's a slave of the house. He carried that name. You know what I'm saying? He represents that house as a slave of it until he gets sold. And let's read it.
So verse 8 it says, "And they slew the kings of Midian, beside the rest of them that were slain, namely Evi, and Rechem, and Zur, and Hur, and Reba, 5 kings of Midian. Balaam, also the son of Beor, they slew with the sword. And the children of Israel took all the women of the Midian captives, and their little ones, and took the spoil of all their cattle and all their flock."
So they took the women and the little ones. Little ones are children. Yeah? So that could be anywhere from a baby to 7, 8-year-old, whatever. Young youths them. Yeah? Go on. Which that we're gonna do that again.
Yep.
That's gonna happen again. What are you gonna do? Get emotional? So I don't even like these Edomite youths, man. I'll be honest with you, man. I don't like them anyway. Especially the Edomite youths. I don't like them. So that's not gonna be a hard thing for me. I don't really feel no way when I see them. I'm just know what I mean? I don't feel like empathy.
Don't say that.
They little bastards. They little, you know. Anyway, that's just me. You know what I mean? I don't really care to that level. That's what it is, man.
And all their goods, right? And they burnt all their cities wherein they dwelt, and all their godly castles with fire. Goodly castles with fire. And they took all the spoil and all the prey, both of men and of beasts.
Bro, both of men and of beasts. So they took the animals, they owned that, and they took the men. But so they had oxen, they had people, chattel. They're all chattel. That's where you get the term chattel slavery. They now own these people. They now own these cattle. They're now property. And then they start divvying them up. All right, you owe them 2 there. Well, you want, hey brother, you need 3 of them. Okay, hold 3 of them. You take them back to your house. Man ain't asking whose family. Fuck all that blood. Just take, man.
And they brought the captives and the prey and the spoil unto Moses and Eleazar the priest, and unto the congregation of the children of Israel, unto the camp at the plains of Moab, which are by Jordan near Jericho. And Moses and Eleazar the priest and all the princes of the congregation went forth to meet them without the camp. And Moses was wroth with the officers of the hosts, with the captains over thousands and the captains of hundreds, which came from the battle. And Moses said unto them, have ye saved all the women alive?
So hey, Moses was going on raw, because they were even saving the older women. now today, this is what we're about to read about is a straight up war crime. You know, listen, what we're about to read right now in today's atmosphere would be a straight up war crime, and they'd be putting Moses up in The Hague on charges. That's why you can't go by the sentimentalities and the justifications of this fake world that they got going on here right now. You got to deal with the scriptures, because everything Moses is about to say, the Lord co-signed it, and it was righteous.
Yep.
It was pure good karma. There was no, because what the judgment that they were receiving was righteous. It was good, according to the Lord. So
Yep.
That's why you can't deal with these Christians, man, because you know they don't deal with the scriptures, what's actually written in there. Go on, huh?
So behold, these caused the children of Israel through the counsel of Balaam to commit trespass against the Lord in the matter of Peor, and there was a plague among the congregation of the Lord. Now therefore kill every male among the little ones, and kill every woman that have known.
Oh shit! So they killed all the young boys. There you go. Go on.
And kill every woman that have known man by lying with him. But all the women children that have not known a man by lying with him, keep alive for yourselves.
There you go. So they're gonna be slaves, concubines, whatever. I thought they left I must have remembered it wrong. I thought they left the little boys. So they killed all the boys too. So they wiped them guys out.
Young women.
They wiped them all out. That's a war crime right there. Go ahead.
Whole nation got no seed left.
So the women became slaves. What did they become slaves? They kept them for themselves. Now some of them would have become concubines. Some of them would have just been maid girls, handmaids that just you give them to your wife. Okay, here's one there, and she fucking just like how
hold the mirror up.
Rachel and Leah had handmaids. Yeah, slaves. Go on. Damn, they killed the boys. No, I thought they kept the little ones where I remembered it, but I remembered it wrong. So it went even further than what I thought. So they only kept the women children to be slaves. Let's keep it clear about what they were now. They were now slaves, concubine or handmaid, but both is just a slave.
To serve a purpose in the house.
Yeah, vital.
Yep. This is verse 19, and do ye abide without the camp 7 days. Whosoever hath killed any person, and whosoever hath touched any slain, purify both yourselves and your captives on the 3rd day and on the 7th day. You want to read on?
No,
that's the point.
So again, that's another example of us taking slaves, man. All right, now we could get the law on it, because it's in the law. And remember, Paul said that the law is what? Holy, and it's good, and it's just. It's justice. It's just. So we can read based upon the law what's good and just. Okay?
Yeah, the Most High hasn't got a problem with slavery in itself. You know, the problem the Most High has even this day, right, is the fact that you put His children into slavery, or His children are in slavery, and you nations are taking the piss, right? That's why when the judgments come, it's gonna be based on the shit that you did. But in general, slavery is not a bad thing. And the Most High is not disgusted by it. No, you can't do that. You know, He allows the practice of it, and that's why we have a law to how to conduct ourselves. You know, when concerning our slaves.
Yeah, we had laws on it, man. Specific laws of how to keep it righteous, you know.
Yep. I got this in Exodus 21. Is that what you're speaking on? Laws. Or you got another one in mind?
There's actually quite a few laws that go
Yeah.
into the one specifically I wanted was Deuteronomy 15. But if you want to read this one as well, then it's not a problem. It's like, but there's quite a few places where it speaks about. The whole idea of having servants is covered quite a lot in the law. Because the law deals with pretty much property and things like that. That's part of property. Servants is part of property. Even Esau said that. What does he say? Possession is 9/10 of the law. A lot of the laws dealing with land, you know, property, wives, all that stuff. It's all property. It's all property-based things, man.
Okay. So yeah, here in Deuteronomy then, chapter 15, verse 1, it says here, at the end of every 7 years, thou shalt make a release. And this is the manner of the release. Every creditor that lendeth unto his neighbor shall release it. He shall not exact it of his neighbor or his brother, because it is called the Lord's release. And so after 7 years, you don't hold those debts no more. You cancel your debts. You wipe off the debts. Esau will have you in debt perpetually.
You read it in 15.
15 and 1.
Oh, okay. I thought, yeah. No, don't start from 1, but yeah, I get what
You want to jump? Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted the bit on verse 12.
12, right. Deuteronomy chapter 15, verse 12. If thy brother, an Hebrew man or an Hebrew woman, be sold unto thee and serve thee 6 years, then in the 7th year thou shalt let him go from thee. Thou shalt let him go free from thee.
Right, so you might be in a situation where, you know, you're down bad, and so you're like, to get out of the situation, I got children, I'm gonna sell my children, so they're gonna go and become a slave to another family. So you might be your daughter, it might be a son, and they're going there specific. So even if it was a woman, she was going there specifically to be a servant, not a wife. So she'll go there and serve and be a handmaiden in that person's house, and then after 7 years they come back. You see? So that's actually in our law, but it would be like a temporary form of servitude. Let's read it again. So like, all these things are in our scriptures, man.
This verse 12 again says, if thy brother, an Hebrew man or a Hebrew woman, be sold unto thee and serve thee 6 years, then in the 7th year thou shalt let him go free from thee. And when thou sendest him out free from thee, thou shalt not let him go away empty. Thou shalt furnish him liberally out of thy flock, and out of thy floor, and out of thy winepress, of that wherewith the Lord thy power hath blessed thee, thou shalt give it unto him.
So like we brought out last week, really when you break it down, slavery amongst our people was actually it's very helpful for your own economics. Like if you were in a family that was down bad, putting yourself into slavery or selling yourself into slavery was a means by a way you could get yourself back on track. Because once you come, say like you had 3 sons and you sent them all out into slavery, they'll come back in 7 years and with knowledge, experience, and they'll have money and gifts that they're bringing back with them, and you would have got money for them in the first place, like when you sold them to cover whatever problems you had. So it was useful and it's governed for. And that would now, today people would be like, oh, that's crazy, like man sold his son into slavery. Do you know what I'm saying? But this is actually a part of our law, a part of our culture. Your father could sell you to another family as a slave.
Yeah, not to be mistreated, but just to work.
Yeah, man's
You know what I'm saying?
couldn't take your eye out and stuff like that. But you had to work. But then at the same time, you had to be obedient, because you're a servant, or you might get lashes. Yeah, if a servant don't do what he's told, he could get beat too. You know what I'm saying? But not to be like the brother said, you're gonna get beat for no reason, or you go there, you're doing a job, you get me, and you do what you're meant to be doing. But that's part of our culture. That actually is a thing that happened.
Or you become an apprentice, you know what I mean? You learn from another skilled dude.
Yeah, you're gonna be learning.
You know?
Yeah, because you're gonna be learning. If you're working, you're learning. You're learning something.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Especially if you're a young man. So that's that. Now let's keep reading on.
Verse 15 says, and thou shalt remember that thou wast a bondman in the land of Egypt, and the Lord thy power redeemed thee. Therefore I command thee this thing today.
Right, so redemption from captivity or slavery or servitude, right, was built into our law, especially when it comes to Israelites. You would always have that opportunity to be redeemed, because that's the Israel. That's something which is unique to Israel. And the funny thing is that if we think about that law, right, and we think about what's happening now, the Lord has provided a way for us to be redeemed, right? Because we're not supposed to be in perpetual slavery to no other people or no one else, even our own people. In some, you know, because when you go to Esau, that's what the mark of the beast is all about. He wants to put our people into perpetual slavery. Nah, the Lord never intended for our people to be slaves to these other nations perpetually or forever. No. Redemption, that has always been the way of Israel, and it's the way which the Lord has provided today, because Yahweh Shai is the redeemer of Israel, and he's going to redeem his brethren out of captivity. Now, we've been in there longer than 7 years, but that's what it is.
Yeah. It's, verse 16 said, and it shall be, if he say unto thee, I will not go out away from thee, because he loveth thee, and thine house, because he is well with thee, then thou shalt take an awl and thrust it through his ear unto the door, and he shall be thy servant forever, and also unto thy maidservant thou shalt do likewise.
Right, so if they want to stay and be a servant forever, they can make that choice, but it was their choice to do that. All right, so I wanted to get this point, because that's the Hebrew, but that don't apply. Let's get Leviticus 25 and 44. So as an Israelite, can you have, oh my goodness, as an Israelite, can you have that's why you have to have a gun. Anyway, as an Israelite, yeah, can you have can you have a slave? This is what we want to know. Is it righteous or is it just for an Israelite to have another human being as their bondman or bond woman, meaning a person that you own? Because I guarantee you, if you go to any of these Christians and you say, is it right to own someone? Oh no, that's evil. You can't own someone. And start crying and whining, and even these hypocritical Edomites will start crying and whining. Like, bro, like, you know, you got your whole come up based upon that. Like, you for real? Like, keep it real. But I'm talking about Jake. If you was to literally, we went over to them group of Jakes that was over there, them Bible bashing Jakes, and we said, listen, isn't it right? Is it right for a man to own another human being like how you own it? Oh no, that's slavery.
How could you possibly suggest that after what we've gone through?
Well, the Bible says that the law, right? And these Christians, they're gonna get hurt because their favorite person is Paul. Paul wrote most of the epistles, right? They always like to praise Paul. Oh, Paul, yeah. Paul said the law is good. He said it's holy, right? And he said it's just. That means what's written in the law.
Yep.
So let's see what's written in the law. Let's get Leviticus 25. And you know what? Might have to. Yeah, go on, dog. Must get something tonight.
So this is Leviticus 25 and 42.
Pop, but you popping them bottles there. Go ahead.
For they are my servants, which I brought forth out of the land of Egypt, they shall not be sold as bondmen.
Right, we're not supposed, according to the law, Israelites are not supposed to be sold as bondmen. Then we're not supposed to be sold for another. I can't take my brother and sell him as a bondman. I can't do that because this is he's a servant to the Lord ultimately. I can hire him as a servant, but I can't have him as a bondman. Yeah, because the Lord brought Israel out of Egypt to do what? To serve Him. Whether ultimately we're servants of the Heavenly Father, and it's a particular way He wants us to be. Now we serve the King as well, but we still serve the King with a level of sovereignty. So we're not bondmen to the King. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because like I said, there's different levels of servitude. Bondmen is like the lowest form of servitude there is, because there's ownership there. Like I was saying, man, own dog and cat and cattle and all them something there. Yeah.
Thou shalt not rule over him with rigor, but shall fear thy power.
Right. You know, you be fair. You don't rule over. Look at this. Look at the word rigor.
Severity, innit? Harshness.
Severity, yeah. Strictness. Harsh and demanding conditions, man.
And that's what Esau had us under.
Yeah, Esau. Listen, Esau had us down. Listen, did you know that they invent the whole idea of 24? Esau took economics to a whole different level. The whole idea of shift work, day shift and night shift, goes back to the Caribbean and the sugar plantations. To maximize the harvest, they run the harvest day and night. That's when the first idea of that shift work come about, where you got the operation is running, it don't stop. When one shift go down, 12-hour shift goes, the other one starts, man. And they had man working out there in the hot sun to rush to get that harvest in, because you couldn't take your time because the sugar ferment and it will go off. So you had to start working. So guess what? They didn't. You talking about women, and this is the whole thing about women's liberation. First of all, the so-called black woman never needed no right to work, because guess what? The so-called black woman was always working. It was the so-called white woman that wasn't working. It's showing you so-called black women are so stupid. You're jumping onto something that ain't got nothing to do with you, because they had the so-called black woman in the fields, picking cotton and chopping down sugar cane with children strapped to their back. What the fuck you mean right to work? You've been working. It's just jokes. Like, they did that. Why? Because Esau's like, listen, we need muscle power out there. If I got 10 men and I got 9 women, well, if I put 10 men and 9 women out there, that's 19 people. It's going to be more productive. So just stick them out there.
And the whole reason behind that is to get you in working so they get more money off you, man.
Exactly.
That's what it
It's
was.
just more labor.
Convinced you that you need to be like, don't be you know, so submissive and then you could, be out there too. Yeah, just to get money off you, man. That's what it was.
But they were always working. They were always maids. That really only applied to white women, because white women didn't have to work.
Yeah,
they were princesses. They were all manicured and pedicured. And even to this day, you notice that about white women. White women, in general, obviously you get them skanky ones from the ghetto, but I'm talking about in general, when you go into the middle class and the upper middle class areas, and even in central London, one thing you notice about white women is you could tell that they take care of themselves. But that comes from a culture where that's all they've been doing for the last fucking 10 generations. White women only had to do one thing: take care of themselves. Again, because that goes back into what we spoke about earlier, that a certain type of wife in a certain type of house, their job was to take care of themselves. Their job wasn't to wake up and grind meal or work. When you're working, you can't worry about pedicure and medicure and all them kind of stuff. You just rough and ready. You just out there. And that's how J kids on the islands, they're just rough and ready, man. They don't do no pedicure or manicure. They just go do their work, man.
Yeah. Throwing any garment that you just
they're strong. Hey, some of my aunties, blood.
I'm gonna call this hand as well.
Yo, blood. Some of my aunties' calf muscles looking like Pacquiao, blood.
Yeah.
They're looking like they've been
They're
taking
rough
steroids, but they're rough hands because they've been working, blood. They ain't got time to be playing around. There's the white women that ain't doing no work, man, because rightfully so. They're in that higher seat, that higher position. And the higher you are, the less work you do, because you've got people to work for you. In the kingdom of heaven, it's going to be the other way around. The Israelite women they're just going to be pampering themselves, getting themselves ready to host us. You know what I mean? They're going to have women that do everything for them. They ain't going to be Them are sisters out there in the washing clothes by hand, man. They gonna have Bond women that do that kind of stuff. Little Elamite.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I'm saying?
Scrubbing away.
Cooking and that. We gonna have fucking kitchen staff, man. You know? You cook if you wanna cook. You know what I'm saying? Like, just like we gonna cook if we wanna cook. Let brother come round, I'm still gonna cook because I wanna cook. But if I got staff, so I'm head chef. So.
Gordon Ramsay go right, starting.
Chef, Gordon Ramsay settings. But anyway, yeah, let's read that again.
Is it?
Leviticus, yeah, Leviticus, right. So we can have slaves, man. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just. And specifically of the heathen, and we're going to show you that. So that shows you the Lord is partial. He puts a difference.
This is Leviticus 25 and 22. For they are my servants, which I brought forth out of the land of Egypt. They shall not be sold as bondmen. Thou shalt not rule over them with rigor, but shalt fear thy power.
See? So the Lord, anyone that takes Israelites and put them into bond slavery, the Lord don't look at you kindly for that. Because the Lord's jealous. He's like, hold on, this is my people. Even though it was a judgment by the Lord ain't happy with you, Esau. That's what you need to understand.
And that's why he allowed you to do it.
That's it. It's about who you did it to. You violated it. It's the Israelites. The scripture says, he that toucheth you toucheth the apple.
Oh, yeah, we'll bring that.
Bring it out. So I don't hear none of you Jake crying about slavery no more. Nah, but it's true. A lot of I've actually told Jakes like, yeah, we're gonna have slaves. I don't want slaves. I was like, what the fuck you mean you don't want slaves? What the fuck? Are you alright, bro? Someone need to bash you over the head?
But
you don't want slaves?
But he's automatically thinking.
But
I mean, we're gonna be doing that, but he's just jumping straight to that extreme level of like.
But I don't see the problem there.
I don't either, you know how emotional Jake is, though, innit, man? But that's what he's thinking about, innit? He's been too emotional for that. But like, who wouldn't want help in the house, bro? Like, that's. Come on, man.
Bro, you know when
your mama shouldn't be coming around.
When I see dishes and shit, yeah,
man.
this shit pisses me off. I start beating my woman. No, I'm joking. That's a joke, yeah. You fucking like calm yourself down. I don't beat my woman.
I confirm it's a joke.
I'm just saying, man, you get angry, man, because you know you gotta do dishes sometimes.
Yeah, man. No,
and you just like,
honestly, I don't want to do that.
I hate doing dishes,
man.
man.
I hate gardening.
You know what I mean?
It's like,
it's long, innit? Like, it's long, especially if it's overgrown.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I don't have to keep paying someone to come in.
Imagine you telling a man that you're gonna have slaves, and man telling you don't want slaves. Well, what do you mean you don't want slaves? That's because we've been broken down so to such a level that any idea of having the slave or a bondman or a bondwoman has just been destroyed in our minds, man. And then so vocab's trying to keep that going. Oh no, slavery's bad. No, bro, the reason you're living off that, we're gonna reap the benefits of having bondmen and bondwomen too. And we were supposed to be reaping that benefit anyway, because it's justified in the Bible for us to be in that condition, man.
Yep.
To make our houses great, man.
Yep.
Literally.
Zechariah chapter 2, verse 8 says, for thus saith the Lord of hosts, after the glory have he sent me unto the nations which spoiled you. For he that toucheth you toucheth the apple of his eye.
See, he never said he that toucheth Elam. He said he that toucheth you. So the Lord is kind of like, there is a thing where if you do something to an Israelite, it's more than if you do it to anyone else. It's a bigger violation. It's a much bigger violation. So it's not equal. Oh, they're all God's creatures. Yeah, we get that. Yeah, but you man are talking about everyone's a God's creature, ain't batting an eyelid when man swat a mosquito, is it? Like, so let's just keep it real. Yeah, I kill flies all the time, and I'll tell you, I don't lose no sleep over it. Like, you get me? I don't even think about it. And I'll start celebrating. You know what I'm saying? And we're moving on. So everything isn't equal, man. Everything is not equal. Even among men, we're not equal. Go on up.
This is Ezekiel 35 and verse 10. Actually, must start off a little bit. 7.
Man was putting in work.
It's like
Twins.
So I'm gonna read from the top, man. It needs to come out, man.
What? Oh,
Ezekiel 35.
Yeah, show that.
Yeah. Ezekiel 35 verse 1 says, moreover the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it. And you get upset when we come against Mount Seir, we come against you, so-called white people, Edomites. You get upset. But we get told to come up against you, man. Right? So Son of Man, set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it, and say unto it, thus saith the Lord of power, behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee. Right? So we're letting you know the Most High got a grudge against you, man. He got a problem against you. He hates you, man. The Lord is explicitly says in the scriptures that he hates you, man. Right? He says, I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate, man. So your end's not any good. Right? So I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword, in the time of the calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Man, you came straight up for us, man. Look what you've done for us. There's so much history what you've done to us, man. It's just unavoidable.
Bro, that man were taking, like, I always give that example, bro. That man fucking, one guy came along and he's like, oh, I like that slave's breast. Man went to visit his brethren and he said, oh, I like her breast. And then when man was leaving, the woman's breast was on a platter for him to leave with. Like, this is the kind of thing you might say, it ain't even just a matter, well, you shouldn't have us in captivity at all. But it's not even just that. You went on a power trip, and they tell you the diaries that these guys recorded in the West Indies was grotesque. We're talking about getting slaves to shit in other slaves' mouths. We're talking about some of the most gruesome punishments you can ever think of was going on them islands, man. Because them Edomites were on a power trip. They were away from no one else. No one knew what, they were gods unto themselves on them islands, and they were losing their fucking minds. Because one thing we do know, this is what we do know in life, is when you give someone an inferior being power, they will only abuse it. What happens when you give a woman too much power? She starts abusing it. What happens when you give a beta male, zeta male, not even beta, zeta, whatever Z stands for, zeta male, zeta male, we call it zeta. Ziga, what's that called? Zika virus? Yeah, whatever. Them Ziga males, yeah. You give Esau power, Esau starts acting freaky. Esau starts losing his mind, doing all kind of madness.
It's like akin to give it to a child. We ask him that Joffrey, innit? Like,
yeah.
That's what you get.
Come on, bro. That was some good pussy right there. You fucked up.
Yeah, two fine ones.
But that's what it is. So Esau was doing, like, feeding people's babies to alligators, blood. What part of slavery is that?
Well, you mentioned the sugar plantation, boiling man in sugar.
Yeah, like, come on, dog. So you went over and above, just having people working for you.
But this is what he said. He had a perpetual hatred. That was hate. That was real hate right there.
Even butt breaking as well.
Butt breakings.
Oh, come on.
You know what I'm saying? Was it necessary? For you, it seemed like it was necessary because you wanted to do that. But it's that hatred.
Yeah, hunting Jake down with wild dogs,
ripping them apart. Well, the horses drawn and quartering, all that shit, just stretching man up to rip them up.
Oh, they were doing bets, and what the baby was in the woman, and then rip the woman open to see, and all this kind of stuff. They were doing madness, man. So, and the half has never sound like a fucking Rasta man now, but the half has never been told.
But that's just even just the Negroes and stuff. You know what I mean? They've done.
Oh, come on.
They've done so much to all our people.
Taking off hands for not bringing back enough gold. That's what they were doing when they would send out, the Northern Kingdom to the mines, and if they didn't come back with enough gold, they'll take off their hands, man. These people are ruthless, blood.
Yep. Even they cause the industry like levy as well. They put like the one horse on this side.
Yeah.
Man. Jacket.
And that shit fucks your head, man.
But that's all right.
The generation of
that's
that,
all right, because listen, but you Edomite, see?
Hey, the get back.
The scripture said the pleasure, the pleasure of a moment is forgotten in the time of adversity, and vice versa. Yeah. So all this time when you Edomites were living like you're in Candyland and enjoying yourself, and you have been enjoying yourself, especially from the middle class upwards, which a lot of you Edomites have been middle class, or if you weren't, you became middle class, because a lot of Edomites went from working class to middle class, and they had their time when they enjoyed their little holidays and they were doing what they got to do and they were living their life, But you see, that was all built on the back of our oppression, right? But guess what? We're gonna build our kingdom off the back of your oppression, and it's not gonna be nice. And that's what we kind of tell Vocab and them, man, that you could do all this talking that you want to do, but the only reason why we're having these conversations is because we don't have the power. when the Lord gives us the power, you ain't even gonna be able to talk because you might not have a tongue in your head.
Yeah, well, you know, those that laugh last laugh the hardest, man.
Whoa, it's gonna be terrible what we're gonna do to you devils, man. And we're gonna be justified because it's not just a matter of we're gonna have you in slavery. It's the matter of that you're also gonna need to be punished, which is different.
That's why it's just.
So that's why we're gonna be doing up madness to you, man. We're not gonna be in no reason
Fair.
to be fair or make it.
Yeah.
No, we're gonna be purposely making it terrible for you.
And that's why there's no recompense on us. We're not fearing the recompense of doing what we're going to do to you because there is none. We're fulfilling your recompense.
Just like what they did to the Midianites. You hear me? It was just. This was just. And it's gonna be justified, man. So you devils, you're gonna have it bad, man.
But they like using that circular reasoning. Oh yeah, but if you do that, you mean the Lord's going to do this to you? And no, this is the end of the line. This is the end of this circle of madness, man. You know, this is going to be the end of that, man. Once you're put down, that's it.
And ain't gonna be no Friday night out on the. Listen, man, you man are gonna know what it's like to when your sole purpose is to basically, what's it called? Support our lifestyles. You're not gonna have your own lifestyle. You're not gonna have you got the weekend off. You're gonna have the Sabbath off, and that's just for you to rejuvenate for the rest of the week. You ain't gonna be able. We're going to Saturday night at the movies.
Planning holidays to Marbella or something.
Ain't gonna be no holidays. Ain't gonna be no. We're going down the pub after work.
Yeah.
You're gonna work.
You ain't gonna know nothing else.
That's it. You're just gonna be there to on call to do what we tell you to do, and that's it. We're gonna have all that, you know, the good things and the partying and all. You ain't gonna have one party. Imagine that. Not even one.
Not even a birthday. And nothing.
So that's how it's gonna show. Your slavery is gonna be worse than our slavery.
100%.
Because our slavery, the Lord had mercy on us where Jake will have moments when you can have liberty, you know. You can have a little release, you can have a little party, you can unwind. Niggas be driving down, you know.
Drink.
Yeah, you can have things that when we put you in slavery, like it's not gonna get. I don't know about you, but you guys ain't even gonna get alcohol, so it's peak for you.
Not even ginger beer.
Nah,
Not even ginger beer.
we're gonna get water with mud in it. That's gonna give you the minerals that you.
Essential vitamins and minerals.
Go on, let's carry on.
Yeah. This is verse 6, Ezekiel 35 and verse 6. It says, therefore as I live, saith the Lord, power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. As if thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee.
Right, that's why the scripture says, he that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity, and he that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience of the saints. That's a harsh reality. The harsh reality is that the gospel, because if you ask a Hebrew Israelite what the gospel is, and he starts trying to make us look bad, like, it's like, bro, you can't make us look bad. What are you talking about? Part of the gospel is for you to get your head bust and have you leaking out on the floor. That's part of the good news. That is revenge. And the worst thing about it is that they're Hollywood, right? And the Hollywood stories are all based upon this concept, and no one has a problem with it. Like the program I was watching the other day, was it Something List? With what was it? It's on Amazon Prime. Something List.
It's the list.
Oh, is it called The List?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. But anyway, if you watch this program, there's no doubt who the protagonist in the program is. The protagonist in the program is the guy he's a Navy SEAL, and his whole squad got killed. The man got slaughtered, yeah? And they even killed his wife and his daughter. And then for the rest of the film, spoilers, it's all about him. He's got a list of names of people who were involved, and him head topping all of them in various ways. One guy, man, actually juked him. Mexican, he was a cartel guy, so he dealt with him cartel style. Juked him, pulled his intestine up and taped it to the tacked it to the thing and told man to walk. Man's pulling out his intestines and that, yeah. Now hold on. When you're watching this program, you can always tell what the writer intended. And that's why they show the dead mother and the dead daughter, so that when he's doing these things, you're like, okay, well, that man did so you're justifying it. You know what I'm saying? Literally,
you understand why man would do this.
But the man started doing terroristic behavior. I'm like, you get me? Man started blowing up shit, head topping security they're just doing their job. He's head topping them.
There's no winner.
My point being is this: even in Hollywood, they show you that if a man violate,
Recompense
it's a
must
good
come.
thing and a justice thing when you get man back and you violate man back and you bust man's head. And the worse of the thing, the way Hollywood works, or the way any storytelling works, is if you want your bad guy to get a gruesome end, then you make your bad guy do something which is terrible
Unforgivable.
and show it. So by the time you get to the end of the movie and they're getting burned alive, everyone in the film's like, yeah. So hold on, bro, this guy's getting burned alive. You agree with that? You agree with people getting burned? Yeah, because you've seen in the film
Yeah.
where he killed a bunch of children in a room somewhere and shot them. So now when
He's
he's
a
getting
monster, so he
burned
deserves it,
alive,
yeah.
you're happy about it. If they never showed that, you might be like, oh, you know,
bit much.
it's a bit much. My point being is, if that is the case with basic story writing, any writer knows, you got your antagonist, you make him do some filthy shit so that when the protagonist does something which is morally questionable, everyone's with it. Even the Christians are in it like, yeah, go on, man, get it, man. You know what I'm saying? All this shit, right? So you're doing all this stuff. So why is it when we do the same thing, like these people have done these deeds onto us, why is it when we're saying, look, the Bible justifies the judgment that's coming to them, they're making it look like we're crazy? We're like, oh.
It's like you said that quote earlier, and this was just, right? That was at Spartacus.
Spartacus, yeah, he slaughtered them.
The whole house.
He slaughtered the whole, and their friends that came.
Yeah, yeah.
And everyone, no one was watching that thinking, oh, well, you know, it was a bit much. Because they're showing you all of wickedness that these people have done the whole time. Well, what we do is we show you all the wickedness that you've done, and we're simply saying, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. And he that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints, and it's part of the gospel. That's part of the good news. It's good news when you're going to receive justice, when you're going to get the opportunity to get your get back.
Because remember, the whole point of the good news was to be taking the hand of our enemies, right? So
And
that
they're
means
gonna
the enemies are going to get put down, right?
And they're going to be put in our hands. That's good news.
Exactly.
But we're crazy for that? How are we crazy for that? But you man celebrated when Bin Laden got murked. Them man were out in the street, literally. I wish I'd just get the iPad out and show the videos. Them man were out in the street, because Bin Laden got langed off. But then we can't talk about, it's good news that you're gonna get chinged down and langed off, because you're a bunch of demons.
Thanksgiving as well.
Thanksgiving.
So
These people are jokers, man. Anyway, let's yeah, go on now.
This is the book of Psalms 137. I'm starting from 7. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom, in the day of Jerusalem, who said, blessed, blessed, even to the foundation thereof.
And we're the ones reminding you of these things, you know? The world ain't thinking about these things. Man don't even know who Edom is. We having to tell you that now. The Lord having to reveal it in this time.
So-called white man.
Exactly.
O daughter of Babylon, who are to be destroyed,
And they will.
happy shall he be that rewardest
And we
thee,
will.
as thou hast served us.
Right, that's it. That's what it is. You're gonna get rewarded according to what you've done, and that's why it's not even crazy.
Nope.
It's not even like you didn't do nothing wrong. We're just like, yo, we're gonna just fuck them up. No, you've violated. You done like Amalek violated, and the Lord dealt with them.
You know what though? Edomites like to saying it. Oh, that was in the past. They like to think like because it's a time ago or whatever, man. That justifies we just move on with things. No, the Lord does not forget.
It's the law of the universe. Listen, all energy in the universe must be balanced, bro. Time does not dissipate that energy. You understand? You have to put it, we have to get metaphysical now. Time does not, if you do a mathematic equation, right? Time is not in that equation. In order to balance that equation, it must need, if I draw out an imbalanced equation and I just left it for 1,000,000 years and I come back, is it gonna balance itself because of time? It doesn't work like that. You have to balance it. Action, reaction. Yeah? So that's how the universe works. So time doesn't come into it. You have to pay. The Lord is beyond time. There is a judgment. So if you do one thing, the Bible says a false balance is an abomination to the Lord. It's going to have to be balanced out. That's why they say justice is what? A pair of scales. Yeah? So you, right now, the scales is up here. The energy is all off. So in the kingdom of heaven, we're going to slide them scales back into balance, bro.
Balance the force.
Balance the force, man.
Dark side.
You want to bring restore balance to this force, not destroy it. You're gonna restore that balance, man. It's just how it works, man. Time doesn't change anything. The wounds don't heal over time. I'm telling you, it don't. There's still people, right? Listen, you Jake are idiots, man. Listen, if there's different heathens in the world that got beef with other heathens, yeah, over some shit that happened bare long ago, and they got it in their heart. I remember one time when we was in uni, right? Man must have brought these Greek girls back, these Greek Cypriot girls, because you got Turkish Cypriot and you got Greek Cypriot. Now, I didn't know that there was a whole thing that happened.
Yeah.
But this wasn't no recent beef. This was like a beef that happened, right? So we're there now, like, and we had one done that was actually living with us, who was Turkish. It was Turkish. No, I think it was just Turkish or something like that. Yeah. So I didn't know nothing about beef or all that. So we brought these girls back here. You know how it goes. We're bringing back these 2 Greek girls, and we're vibing, we're chatting, and all this, that, and the third. Yeah. We bring this guy comes home. Turkish. He comes in, he starts chatting. I'm like, yeah, okay, cool, it's on and popping, yeah, bro. Out of nowhere, it was completely off. They were even there laughing and joking as well.
Yeah.
They just stopped, and she was like, "Why did your people kill my people?"
Oh shit! Just dropped it like that.
It was so. They had this. It was so strong in them that they couldn't ignore it no more.
Yeah.
It was like, "Why did your people kill my people?" And I was like, "What the?"
Like he's really meant to no one respond to that.
Bro, I rate him though. He was like, ladies, let's not talk politics. I was busting up, man. But the point of the matter is that them girls there, they weren't forgetting about that shit, man. It's you, Jake, that want to forget about everything all the time. Like, other nations, with the way they are, if someone violates them, they don't care. Like, the Japanese still remember what the Chinese still remember what the Japanese did to them. These people don't forget.
You know why you want to forget? Because you're weak.
You feel
You're a
powerless.
slave, yeah. You don't see no way to get what you deserve, the justice you deserve. You don't see it.
So you just want to roll it over.
Yeah.
Esau pumped it into your brain. Nah, man, we ain't gonna forget nothing, and it's gonna be balanced. The scripture says, judgment shall return unto righteousness, man. That's what Yahweh Shai is coming to do. Anyway, go on up.
That was it on your.
Yes, sir.
Is it?
Yes, sir.
You got a little bit more. Yeah.
Happy shall he be
Oh yeah.
that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones.
That's war crimes right there. That's a war crime right there. Now you gotta ask yourself, why did God allow that to be written in the Bible? A man just said that you're gonna be happy to take one of them little piglet Edomites and bust
them
off
up.
their head off a stone, innit? That's mad. You can imagine if someone did that on a video and uploaded it, blood. Do you know how mad that would be? Like, that guy would be, everyone would be onto man. Like, nah, like, what are you doing?
Oh, whoa, stop.
They'd be like, nah, it's a war crime.
Totally going off the man.
Bro, man, we're getting executions and all this kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, we're not telling no one to go out there and do this, by the way. Don't be going grabbing no little Edomite and busting his head off. Don't grab no Edomites anyway. They're filthy. I'm just telling you that the day is going to come where that is going to be fulfilled. Not today. In the kingdom of heaven, little Edomites are going to be getting their head bust off walls. Yeah. And the Bible says that man are not going to cry or mourn about it. Man are going to be happy that that's getting done. And you might think that's crazy, but listen, when people have violated you, you'd be surprised how people feel about getting the get back. That's why you think like, even on the streets, right? You hear about, like, here in London, man's will ching down a man's brethren, and when they hold him, you hear about what happened. They'll hold man down and stiff some fucking big Rambo knife into their chest, and they'll all go back and laugh about it and make songs about it and celebrate it. Yeah, the reason they're laughing and celebrating is because they got their get back. Man ching down their brethren, and it filled them with joy to be able to get man, and they was enjoying it while they were doing it. They were, certain times they get the other man, like, oh, no, I want to do it too, and they'll switch over, and everybody wants to get a stab. Yeah, why? Because it's a natural feeling of enjoyment when you're getting your get back. Now, if you ain't getting your get back, it's just another thing. Oh, I'm just chinging. Yeah. But if a man, let's say a man killed your family, and you got a chance to really hold man, you're gonna enjoy every second
Level the score.
of level. You're gonna enjoy it, man. You're not gonna be, I don't really want to kill this guy, but you're not gonna, yeah, motherfucker, I got you. You get me? Because it's get back.
Can man come hunt you after? No, they don't need no survivors.
This is a natural psychological thing that you can witness in any ghetto happening every week, guys. Once they get their get back on someone, they go celebrate. And they start laughing and making jokes about it. Oh, did you see his head?
I mean, do you know the worst thing about it as well? Who's the one that wants the biggest get back? The Lord.
The Lord's gonna laugh, man.
The Lord is because almost the Lord's get back, right? I know you put with the angry, mad ones and that, but we're not even halfway there compared to the Heavenly Father.
And Lord ain't squeamish, man. So
yeah,
the Lord's get back.
Man, I
is
just put that
gruesome.
spirit, that cold spirit, and do all that stuff, man.
It's true. It's true, man. It's just the reality of life, man. If you do something to someone, don't be surprised if they're enjoying when they get you, because they're gonna enjoy it. They're not gonna show no mercy.
Look how the Lord dealt with the Egyptians, man. What he was doing all to them for, like, all these different
Killed all
plagues
their
and
firstborn,
pestilences.
man.
Yeah, just
Drowned
tormenting them. Man, he's just tormenting them.
Mad thing.
You know?
Didn't Samuel hew Agag into pieces, man?
Yeah. Just kidding me, hewed him up, man. The Lord wanted that.
I think David was sorry when he bust Goliath's head, man.
That's the joyous occasion.
And then he
man.
took his head off, man, after
Yeah.
that. Straight Sicario, man.
Dagger David.
This is what I'm saying, man. This is the things that's written in the scriptures, man. Man saying you're gonna be happy when you bust a youth's head off a wall, man, off a rock. So we gotta think about it, man. Maybe your level of morality doesn't match up with the scriptures. Go on.
This is the book of Psalms 58 and 10. The righteous shall rejoice when he sees the vengeance.
Mm,
He shall wash his feet in the blood of the wicked.
that's right. And like I said, these top writers, they know that. They know that if you wanna really get a antagonist, you have to show that antagonist to have done something worthy of whatever gruesome death that they're gonna receive at the end. And people enjoy it. Like everyone enjoyed where Ramsay got ate by them dogs, his own dogs, in Game of Thrones.
Yep.
They didn't feel bad about it. Everyone enjoyed that because they knew that Ramsay was doing a bunch of madness.
He needs to go. He's too dangerous, man.
Ramsay was doing madness, right? So the writers set it up, and then how you perceive something happening to someone is literally based upon whether you think they deserve it or not. This is like literally a psychological thing. You could see someone getting stoned to death, and on one hand, if you think that person is innocent, you'd be like, you're like, oh, that's horrible. Or if you know they're guilty and they violated you, then you're like, hit man with a rock, bing. It's all based on perception of whether you feel like that person deserved it or not. It's literally straight up. So anyone that says it's not is really a hypocrite. Because these are the same people that if I ran up in their house and killed their wife, they're gonna be looking for man to get murked, and they'll be happy to see it. Yeah.
But again, even on a spiritual level, man, it's like Cain mentality. Man, like Cain a fugitive, right? He ain't trying to face no judgment.
You don't want to get it. You don't want to get it. So he's trying
So
to make everything nice now.
Yeah,
Nah, fuck off. Like,
trying to escape judgment, man, but you can't.
hey, that happens to Jake all the time. That's another thing that happens to Jake. About that whole time thing. You know how many Jake here, American people, when they were younger, and they get older, turn religious and all this kind of stuff, and the family members they didn't forget, and they roll up on them when they're older and bust their head top back, and everyone don't care about it was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But you think this is, man? So yeah, listen, we're talking about reality, man. Vocab, you man are gonna get your head bust. Go on.
So that a man shall say, verily, there is a reward for the righteous.
That's the reward.
That's part of the reward, the get back. Getting your get back. And like I said, there's a million movies all designed around get back. The Punisher, like this, and everyone enjoys those films.
Yeah,
You enjoyed it in the beginning of the thing. Guy gets his wife killed, gets his dog killed, or whatever, and then at the end of the film, the guys that did that get murked off dumbly. No one cares. Everyone's happy. Like,
No, you don't feel sorry for
you leave the cinema feeling good about yourself. Like, yeah, justice was done.
Man got an axe lodged into the middle of his head.
Yeah.
Like, he deserved it. He came against John Wick. He's riding for his woman and his dog. You know what I mean?
Hey, Arnold, what was that with Commando? Arnold was going on a mad one.
Rambo, all of that.
Rambo, yeah, all that stuff, man. Go on.
Verily, he is a power that judges in the earth.
That's right.
It's just judgment.
It's judgment, man. Righteous judgment.
I know you're doing the Cain thing, trying to run from judgment, but judgment has to be served, man. Has to be. Otherwise, there's no balance. Right?
It ain't nice.
No balance.
It's not nice.
Because as a people, we're always going to be hurt. Because the things done to us. Because we are hurt as a people.
damaged, we're hurt, damaged. So that's gonna make us feel better, man.
Yep.
Therapeutic. Hey, judgment is therapeutic, like it's therapy. Closure.
Yeah.
You need that closure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Back in Ezekiel 35, read verse 7 says, Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from it him that passeth out, and him that returneth. And I will fill his mountains with his slain men, and in thy hills and in thy valleys, and in all thy rivers shall they fall that are slain with the sword. I will make thee perpetual desolations.
Yeah, it's going into America.
Mhm.
America's going to be the main place. Even all these other places that Esau's built up are going to be destroyed, but America's going to get it the worst, man. That's the perpetual desolation, man.
Yep. It says, and thy city shall not return, and ye shall know that I am the Lord. Right. So going back into this possession thing, like we're not meant to be owned by the other nation. We're owned by the Heavenly Father. Right. This is why I brought the scripture out to get to the verse 10 here. Right. This is because thou hast said, these two nations and these two countries shall be mine.
What two nations and two countries? I was just asking.
Oh, yeah.
We gotta break it down, you know.
Yeah, no,
What two? Because he said two nations,
That's
right?
right.
What's that talking about?
Because we was two kingdoms once, right? The northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, the kingdom of Judah and the kingdom of Israel, right? And he has dominion over all of us now.
The people and the place.
Yep, that's right. He has the motherland too. All right. So he's claiming them for himself, but they don't belong to him. We don't belong to the land. Don't belong to him. Nothing belongs to him. That's a violation against the Heavenly Father, because we belong to him. You know.
But the Lord said he's jealous
Yep.
of his people, man.
He's got us serving Esau. You know, worshiping his God, his image and shit. You know. It says, therefore, as I live, saith the Lord power, I will even do according to thine anger, and according to thine envy, which thou hast used out of thy hatred against them. So everything you've done is because of hate. When we do this now, we're going to hate you, but it's because of what you've done.
Righteous.
But it's going to be exactly that.
Righteous indignation.
Because you had no place to do what you did, really, right? I know you caught up on the whole, the whole blessing thing.
And it was a lack of respect because you knew we were the people of the Most High.
Yep.
So the fact that you think you could do that,
Way
like for instance, if you knew that some girl was like the cartel dude's daughter, right? You wouldn't like, you know what I mean? You ain't gonna just pump and dump her, are you?
Yeah.
Let's keep it real.
Should be kept honest.
You're gonna be like, yo, dog is a bad man daughter. That you get me? You're not even gonna. But that's out of respect.
Yeah.
That's out of respect, innit? Like, or if you knew some guy was the cartel leader's fucking son, you ain't just gonna be going over and trying to violate him because you know, like, boy. Like,
that whole John Wick thing, man.
Yeah, the John Wick.
Bro, it, like, what?
Yeah, it's that. So, bro, do you know who that is, man? So it's the same thing, really, when it comes to the Most High. It's like a disrespect. It's like, hold on, you thought you could, you didn't even consider that. I'd be vexed about this, and that in itself is a disrespect. It's like you're thinking, like, what? Like, who you think you're doing this to?
They touch not the Lord's anointed.
Do my prophets no harm?
You know, the same thing occurred with King Saul. You know, when the Edomite eventually
put his hands on him.
and he came to David thinking there's going to be kind of some reward for him.
Yeah.
David put him to death.
How did it thou not fair to touch the Lord anointed?
Exactly.
So it applies to Esau. It's a massive disrespect.
Yep.
It's a massive disrespect. Like, you wouldn't do that. Like, no one on the earth is brave enough to violate the local godman's fucking sister or something. You know what I mean? Like, you know,
Madness.
it's madness, blood. Everyone knows that dude. Yeah. Man, in the ends, man's laying people down left, right, and center. He's just gonna go violate his little brother or something like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, nah, like, allow it, bro.
Don't do them things there.
I ain't trying to get man to come linking me up, pulling up in a whip for man. Nah. So then why would you, you know?
Think you're gonna do this, yeah?
That shows you ain't rating the Most High
Fair.
on being it. There's no fair there, no respect.
Yep.
Respect.
So therefore, as I live, saith the Lord power, I will even do according to thine anger and according to thine envy, which thou hast used out of thy hatred against them.
Right, they envy us, man. These Edomites envy us because we're blessed, because we're superior than them. They're the ultimate hater. Esau's always been the ultimate hater because we have gifts that the Lord, even in our lower state, we have gifts that Esau can't buy.
Yep.
Esau can't. You see, there's certain things that you can't buy, man. You can't buy the birthright. You can't buy the spirit and the flavor and the potential that the Lord has given us. Because as a people, we're the most potent people there is. We have high levels of potential. Even the most bugged out Jake you can find, that's not really who he is. That Jake could be so much more than who he is. He has a high ceiling. He's just being brought low by this wicked world and this low vibration. But Esau's envious of the way we can move, the way we can vibe, the way we can, and they hate it. So when they see it, yeah, they're like, oh, why can't I be cool?
That's what Will kind of thinks.
It's very good, like, why can't I rap? Yeah, they don't like it. Trust me, these Edomites are very envious, and you know it's bad when you envy someone, even when you're over them.
Over them, yeah.
Even when you're over them,
when
you
you're
still
supremacy over them.
yeah, and you
Like,
still
you
hate
can't do
it.
it.
It's still not
Yeah,
enough.
yeah.
Like,
So the good, I mean, the blowing them lips is.
yeah, they're
Yeah,
blowing
yeah,
up them
yeah,
lips
yeah.
and all them stuff. It's like, bro, like, you ain't happy ruling the world, bro. You still envy. You still mad at me. I ain't got nothing, bro. But we do have something. We have a lot of things that money can't buy.
Yeah, yeah.
We have the spirit. Can't buy that. So, yeah,
The
man.
things that we have is more precious.
Esau envies Jacob a lot, man. But then Jake turning around and envying Esau
Yeah.
for the carnal things that Esau has, money and that. Like, fuck that. That's nothing. With the gifts that the Lord has given us, is way beyond money. The birthright was worth more than money because you can't buy the birthright.
Well, he's doing his best to try and get it back with all his resources. You know what
He
I'm saying?
still can't
He
get
still
it.
can't get it. Man's trillionaires out here. You know what I mean? They still can't
Eternal
get it.
life, you can't buy that. You know what I mean?
It's not his. This is
You can get a dance tutor, but that don't mean you're gonna have, you know what I'm saying?
you know, Michael Jackson's feet. You know,
Yeah.
like that, you know. But that's like that movie Get Out, innit? I wish I had these legs.
Yeah, the
you know,
athletic
yeah,
ability.
Yeah, I wish I had these legs. I was you know, the fastest man and all this shit.
It is a gift. It is a gift. A lot of things, some things you work on, but the reality is you're kind of born with everything already.
You need, yeah.
Like if you're like, you could tell
Draw
people
it
that
out.
are athletic. If you're athletic, then you could become more athletic. But you got people that are like Esau. A lot of the Edomites, even we went to school with a lot of Edomites, they were never going to be athletic. It didn't matter how much training they did. We'd be faster than them not training. You know that, like, you're just faster and stronger than them not training. If we train, then we got even better. Them lot there struggling because it's a genetic lottery. It's you got to be born with certain abilities,
It's
man.
innate.
Innate abilities.
Cause
Yeah.
they always speak about, the old apostles always speak about education, right? Educare, which is to
bring out.
draw out,
Yeah.
right? And that's what they're doing. You're drawing things within you out. And Esau ain't got that. He ain't got that type of stuff,
They're
man.
limited.
You know?
They have limitations
Mm.
that we really don't have. Our ceiling is higher because we're superior in every single way.
And that's why you try to trap our minds and do other things to keep us down.
Drug us up and well, yeah, that's it. That's why
That's
he
what
has
it
to
is.
do that.
Yep.
Because if everything was so cool, I don't like the word level or plane because I don't believe in being
Doesn't
fair
exist.
anyway.
Yeah, you don't
But
know.
if everything was to be fair, we'd just be superior. We wouldn't have to cheat or not. Why would you need to cheat? When I used to do racing, when I used to run, I didn't need to cheat. What did I cheat for? The nigga's slow. These white boys are slow, man. Why the hell do I need to cheat for? Just run. Sometimes you just give them a head start, you still beat their ass, man. Remember when they thought that Jamie Pussy was fucking you remember when we went sports day? And
Jamie.
you know there was a youth named Jamie, man, and he used to play football. He said glasses and shit. They tried saying he was faster than me, man. Like the fucking kid, this dude. I got the baton. By the time I got the baton, man's already like over there, and I ate that dude up, man. Fuck out of here, man. These Edomites are shit. Anyway, man, it's just true, man. These Edomites are shit.
Even the education system is, we still excelling, I guess.
Yeah, the education system's rigged.
Yeah.
Like, if Jake was getting the kind of education that they were getting in these private schools, Jake could be smarter than them.
Yep.
And the Nigerians proved that.
Mm-hmm.
Hands down. Them Nigerians proved that when they go to them boarding schools in Nigeria, they come out way more educated and smarter than these crackers out here. These crackers don't know how to speak English. They don't use the words like automobile. Fuck out of here.
Yeah, they're still out there slapping each other's asses and shit, you know what I mean? Like,
It's bullshit, man. Jake, we're much more intelligent than Esau is. It's just that they dumbing Jake down and they make Jake feel like certain level of education is not for them. Certain level of intelligence is not for them. So the only thing you could do is play football or sell drugs. And they try and push that on Jake or do music. You know what I'm saying? But we have we're rulers in all things, man. We're the top of everything, straight, and we will be. Go on now.
this is and
But, let me say this: they don't put it in their movies, though. You ever notice that? The Nigerians, right, which they're Jakes, right? They're the most academically successful group of people, above even the Chinese. That's a fact. But they all notice they like to show other people as being smart. Chinese people aren't fucking smart. Chinese people go to school on the weekend. Yeah? Tell me I'm lying. All them Chinese people that are good at maths, the reason they're good at maths, to be good at maths is just practice. It's not fucking hard. Yeah? If you go home and do maths and then on the weekend you're going to school and doing maths, you're gonna be good at maths. That's what them Chinese people do. Tell me I'm lying. Any of you Chinese motherfuckers out there, tell me that you didn't go to school on a Saturday, yeah, to learn extra maths. Meanwhile, Jake just playing PlayStation, so obviously he ain't not doing good at maths. It's all about it, but when they do, when Jake do get switched on, they're better. The Nigerians are much more academically achieved than the Indians and the Chinese. They're the #1 demographic when it comes to academia. And that proves, because of the way they think, they value that, so they do it. So that proves that Jake couldn't be doing all that. But they don't put it in their movies, oh, Nigerians are so smart. They just call them scammers. But that's why they can scam, man. Cause well, they're fucking smart, man. They want to be doctors and all. They don't want to be rappers. Well, now some of them do.
Yeah.
But they want to be doctors and all these things, so they do it. It's not hard.
Yep. So I will make myself known among them when I have judged thee. Right? So hey, you have to pay for what you've done. And you're gonna watch the glorification of your enemy, which is us. We're your enemy, right? And you're ours. And you're gonna watch your enemy, Israel, be glorified in the Lord, while you're getting smashed to pieces. You know, getting put under the whip. Right?
Yeah, so it's a sad feeling when you're on your knees, man, in front of a group of men.
To the one you hate the most.
And there's nothing you can do about it, blood. Just go watch some of them cartels and you will know, blood. You see, there was one video I saw, they had about 18 man just, and these men are just there, like, and these men know, like, listen, there's nothing you can do, blood. You need God to come and help you. You're fucked, blood. They just, the look on their faces was just like, that's how Esau's gonna be like, oh man.
Fuck no.
Yeah, I ain't got a say in any of this.
Yeah.
But that's what chattel, you know, you slave. You ain't got no say.
Yep.
Go on,
So therefore, verse 12, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord, and that I have heard all thy blasphemies which thou hast spoken against the mountains of Israel. Right? So nothing is secret to the Heavenly Father. He knows exactly what you've been thinking, what you've been saying, what you've been doing.
Yeah, it's blasphemy.
And it's all blasphemy because, like brother was saying, you didn't think it was, you have no fear that this is what you're doing to the Lord's people.
Yeah, the mark of the beast is blasphemy because they're saying that Israel is going to be in perpetual slavery. That's blasphemy. Even because the Lord has already declared that we're not, that we shall be free. But he's still saying, no, they're not going to be free. So that's a lie, that's a blasphemy right there.
Yep. It says, I have heard all thy blasphemies which thou hast spoken against the mountains of Israel, saying, they are laid desolate, they are given us to consume. Not forever.
No.
There's a time scale on it. You know, then
Well,
we're not yours.
The Lord promised Abraham that his seed will dwell in the land forever.
Yep.
And that's going to happen.
Yep. Verse 13 said, thus with your mouth you have boasted against me. Right? So it's not really us it's not us you're worrying about, man. You boast against the Lord. And the Lord is going to bring down hell upon you, man. That's why you're going to have it so bad. You know? That's why we're going to be in that state, that Zen, cold Zen state when all this is over. And we ain't going to be battering our eyelids when you're getting destroyed, when you get smashed to pieces, you know, when we're treating you bad. We're not going to feel, you know, sorry for you.
Treating them bad.
We're not going to feel sorry for you.
Hell no.
Because this is part of your
But
judgment.
we're going to be in our right mind anyway.
Mhm.
You know, we're not going to be like these guys.
Emotional.
You know what I mean? We're gonna understand the reality of life, man, and everyone's place in it.
Yep.
So we're not gonna have no problems, man. Go back to that old ancient ruling class mentality that Abraham had, that Isaac had, that Jacob had, man. You know? Instead of this pussified, emasculated slave mentality that Jake's got today, man. And the only people Jake wanna be bad on is himself.
So thus saith the Lord power, when the whole earth rejoiceth, we'll be rejoicing again, right? The whole earth going to rejoice when you're gone. I will make thee desolate. Okay?
Mad.
As thou didst rejoice at the inheritance of the house of Israel because it was desolate, so will I do unto thee.
Yeah, because they happy when they see Jake go down. You know, they're happy when they see Jake fall. So we're going to be happy when they go down. As simple as that.
Yep.
We're going to be celebrating it like man just scored a hat trick in the World Cup final.
So will I do unto thee, thou shalt be desolate, O Mount Seir, and all Idumea, even all of it, and they shall know that I am the Lord.
Exactly. So
Yep.
let's go back to Leviticus. Let's finish up Leviticus there, and then get me the blessing of Jacob as well. And then after that, we'll get Isaiah 60, man, about these strangers, and Isaiah 14.
Yep.
So it's like when you build it up properly, then you get that understanding. So you see where these prophecies about these other nations going into slavery, you get more of an understanding about it. Ultimately, they were meant to be our slaves anyway, right? And on top of that, they do need to be punished. So you understand these things, you can digest it, and you can say, well, this is right. This is not nothing crazy. We're not making it up because we're angry at the white man, so we just wanted to make something up. It's actually what's in the Bible, bro.
Your own actions have led you here. You know?
Back to me.
So we go Deuteronomy 32:8. When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. For the Lord's portion is his people, Jacob is the Lord of his inheritance.
That's right.
Uh,
Difference, man.
So we go Leviticus 25:44. Both thy bondmen and thy bondmaids, which thou shalt have, shall be of the heathen.
Which thou shalt have will be of the heathen. So straight away, an Israelite is justified to enslave, to have in chattel slavery, a man on a woman of another nation. We just read it right there. He didn't say thou shalt not have a bondman and a bondwoman. He said the bondman and the bondwoman that you going to have, they have to be of the other nations. So straight away off the bat, let's forget about the prophecy for a second. We're justified off that. Now we going into the prophecy. The prophecy is telling you what's going to happen. It's going to happen. We're going to have these nations in slavery, bondman and bondwoman, and no man shall save them. Yeah? Curses. Huh? Is that it? No.
Which thou shalt have, shall be of the heathen that are round about you. Of them shall ye buy bondmen and bondmaids.
So you could buy them, man. Yeah. So, you know, there's going to be buying and selling of slaves in the kingdom.
So we have permission.
Yeah, it's justified. So now let's get the blessing of Jacob.
Yeah.
It's built into the blessing of Jacob is the vassalage and the servitude of the other nations, man.
Yep.
That's why Esau was hurt, because Esau knew that Jacob was above him, even though he was the elder.
He was clear from that day. Esau was pissed.
He was pissed. He was hurt. He was like, what? Because Esau was almost like raw. Like, if he's got first prize, then what's the point of getting? Because that's what Isaac was like. Raw. Like, what do you want? Like,
Yeah, I'm gonna give you that, man.
what do you mean? Like, what is it that you want, bro? What do you want? I already gave the man the supreme.
This pair here.
I mean,
I already gave it to him.
yeah, he said that. He said, look, see, I've made him your Lord. Like, what the fuck do you want, man?
And he shall be blessed.
Hast thou one blessing from
I didn't
me?
even try to take it back. I said, no, he shall be blessed.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Hey, because he
Done.
was in the spirit.
That's right. But yeah,
Don't take seat back seats, man.
that's right. That's right.
Go on, man.
This is Genesis 27, verse 29. No, sorry, 28. So therefore, the Most High give thee of the dew of heaven and the fatness of the earth.
Right, that's what it's gonna go back to. We're gonna get all that is contained in Deuteronomy 28, 1 to 14. The dew of heaven and the fatness, all the blessings that the earth can provide, which includes the good weather. Like, you see how bad weather messes everything up. And you can have good weather, the rain in its due season, and all them things. Everything runs beautifully, man.
Yep.
You know, your crops are blessed, your flocks are blessed. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's all about. Yeah? Go on.
It's, yeah, fatness of the earth and plenty of corn and wine.
Plenty of corn and wine, man. So you're gonna have lots of production, lots of food, lots of wine. That's good.
It says, let people serve thee. Right? That's what we're going into. Servants.
Slaves.
Right? That's it.
Yeah.
And nations bow down to thee.
That's right. It's a vassalage.
Yep.
And that's how it's gonna be. Your whole nation is there. Like, when we request something, you gotta provide it. We need something, you there to be provided. Even if it means you need to provide men, you need to provide women. Just like with Solomon. Solomon like, yo, I need something to get built, so you better send on some man over here. to get the job done. Like, yeah, okay, let's get that done.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you need, I'll get man to get that. Oh, I need some wood from, okay, well, I'm gonna send some of my people to go cut that wood down and deliver it, Amazon Prime. Yeah, this is what we're talking about, vassalage. Our needs is go come first. What we require comes first. You need to get it done. So that's what's gonna be going on.
Yep. It says, be Lord over thy brethren. We're made lords. Right? And again, the Lord has servants. People that attend to him.
Can you be a lord without a servant? I don't think you can
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, we ain't
Lording over, yeah. It says, and let thy mother's sons bow down to thee. You know, your Edomites are gonna get put in your place.
Every single one of you too, and don't think it's gonna be you because right now, like, okay, if you're LeBron James, you can, these Edomites coming and LeBron James. Listen, see the bummy Jake that's on the side of it's a cracked out Jake. You're gonna be bowing down to them too. Every single Israelite's gonna be above you, because as a nation, we're a royal people. From the least to the greatest of Israel is gonna be above. Yeah, that's how it's gonna be. Royal, we're the real royal people out here. From the least to the greatest. Have to show respect.
Yep. It says, cursed be every one that curseth thee, and blessed be he that blesseth thee.
That's right. So that's based upon us. And you nations, you cursed us. You violated. So now you're going to have to get it back.
I was going to say, man, because you can't say nothing wrong about it. You can't say nothing bad about the situation, man. This is what the Most High ordained in the earth. Right? It's like no one's got a say in it. He didn't ask the nations, oh, what do you think of these people here? Do you mind them being lords over you? He didn't ask them that, bro. They didn't even know about the cursing part yet. You know what I'm saying? If they do, they're gonna get fucked up. Simple as that. You know, no consent. Don't need no consent.
Yeah, you always get guys come up, well, why did God create all the other people? Oh, why did he create cattle? You know what I'm saying? Like, this question is stupid. You know what I mean? Like, he created you to be people that we rule over. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, why? There's so many things in this earth. Like, everything has its purpose. You too have a purpose. That's why you see a lot of them when they hear when we say only Israel's going to be saved, they think that means we're saying that okay, so everyone else is going to die and go to hell or some stupid shit like that. No, like, you know, there's members of the other nation. They're not going to survive the destruction of America. That should be said. Any heathen, anyone that's on the face of America that's not of the elect, you're going to be burned up with missiles. But we know that America's not the whole planet, right? There are going to be members of the other nations that are going to survive the judgment, and they're going to be there. They're going to be seen when Holy Jerusalem comes down from heaven, from the sky. There's going to be heathens on the earth still. Those heathens are going to go into slavery. They're going to be rounded up, like in Planet of the Apes. You know, man's riding, just throw the nets on, man. Just Cornelius. Anyway, go on.
You want me to read that through to Esau?
Nah, fuck Esau, man.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, go on.
It's the book of Revelation 5:10. And has made us unto our power kings and priests, and we shall reign on the earth.
We're going to reign in the earth.
We shall reign, right? Made us kings and priests. Not you didn't go to the heathen and say, yeah, you're the kings and priests. You're gonna reign with them. No, we gotta rule over the heathen like it was supposed to be, like the blessing we just read.
Yeah, even if the heathens never did anything wrong, they'd still be vassals.
Yep.
They'll still have to serve. In fact, let's get into Isaiah 60. You know, it talks about the sons of strangers shall build up our walls. They got it like, what you think, man? I'm getting out the hammer and nail. Like, come on, we've done enough work now.
We built. How many kingdoms we built?
Yeah, man.
Egypt.
And every kingdom has been built. Every kingdom. I don't care what kingdom you're talking about. Every kingdom has been built with slaves. It's not just Esau. That's why Esau starts crying here. But the point is, Esau, that you fucked up, innit?
Yeah.
Like, we can point the finger, and yeah, that's fine. But you know, eventually, when you point the finger, you got to bring it back round to yourself, innit?
The buck got to stop somewhere, innit?
Yeah, it doesn't exonerate you of your crimes. That's not how that's not how it works. You can't point at
How the
other
justice
people.
system works.
Yeah, like, oh, he committed murder too. Okay, so you're both gonna get judged. But anyway, every kingdom has been built with slaves, man. Whether you're talking about the Persian Empire, whether you're talking about the Babylonian Empire, they conquer people and they get slaves, and they use those slaves to build up their kingdom. Rome did it too. Rome brought a whole bunch of slaves through. That's how it works, man. So the kingdom of heaven is going to be no different. It's going to be built up with slaves. Right.
This is of Isaiah 60:10. And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my love I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee. Therefore thy gates shall be open continually, they shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of Gentiles.
Right, so they're going to be their production, when they're producing, a lot of what they produce is going to be towards us, towards the things that we need and we require. Okay, how we like it. That's what I like. just like I like it.
Because the Most High is kind of mirroring what He does with us, man. You know, we've got the whole first fruit stream that we dedicate to the Lord. Well, the heathens, they're going to have to do the same to us, because that's the order of things. You know, it's not that we're going to leave them with nothing like Esau does. We're going to now overrate the whole earth and then leave them with fuck all. You know, we ain't going to do that, but we are going to get the first and the best.
That's not fruitful anyway.
Exactly.
Because when you boa constrict, you end up killing, you killing the thing off, and then it's dead. If you want to live off some people, the stronger they are, the stronger you are, because you're living off them, innit? But Esau's like a parasite that kills his host.
It was like the same in Rome, man. Man was trying to squeeze him for everything, man. They were squeezing,
like,
man.
bro.
Like, we hardly got enough for ourselves, man. Don't care.
Yeah. So then what happens? Then people collapse,
Yeah.
and then you collapse because he's being dumb.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's wisdom. Esau don't have that level of wisdom. He's emotional.
That men may bring unto thee the forces of Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought. For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish, yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted.
Right, so we're going to be ruling with a rod of iron. So if you don't do what we say, if you don't follow our reign and our rule, then you're going to get your head bust. You're going to face consequences, wrath, exactly that. You know, so it's not going to be one of them democracies that they got going on. It's the totalitarianism, the rule of the Israelites, man. But it's going to be good. It's going to be necessary.
Keep things in order.
The glory of Lebanon shall come unto thee, the fig tree, the pine tree, the box together, to beautify the praise of my sanctuary, and I will make the praise of my feet glorious. The sons also of them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto thee. And
They're bowing themselves. Because everything's going to be put where it's supposed to, man. You're going to understand that we're the lords, you're the slaves, man. You're the servants. And you're going to give us the respect that you're supposed to.
Respect.
Respect my authority.
Respect my authority. Yeah, that's it, man. It's bus head time.
And all they that despise thee shall bow themselves down at the soles.
Like vocab, all these guys that look down on us, they're gonna have to bow down and look up. You see, because these other nations, they despise us, man. They look down on us, man. But they're gonna have to look up. Simple as that. But all that is through Yahweh Shai, and that's the good news. That's all. This is all part of the good news. The good news is the prophecies, the promises. This is all part of the promises.
Fulfillments of them. Yeah.
All they that despise thee shall bow themselves down at the soles of thy feet, and they shall call thee the seat of the Lord, the Zion of the Holy One of Israel. Where thou hast been forsaken and hated, so that no man went through thee, I will make thee an eternal excellence a joy of many generations.
Right there, when the Jerusalem gets rebuilt, it's gonna be a mad thing, bro. We can't even put into words what's gonna really be going on, how it's really gonna look. It's gonna look like madness, man. Man are gonna think it's Asgard, man. It's gonna be madness, like it's gonna be madness, like that's all we know. Man's gonna truly, it's got to be fitting, innit?
Yeah,
Because it's the place of the Lord's feet, man. So it's gonna look the part.
Payments of clear gold.
It's gonna be some next metaphysical technologies, blood, going on, blood. Holographic madness, blood. Who knows? We'll find out. Hey, it's gonna be madness. Blood. It's gonna be chariots and all that kind of. It's gonna be crazy. Oh, no.
Thou shalt also suck the milk of the Gentile, and shalt suck the breast of kings.
Right, so they're gonna be supplementing our lifestyles, man. Especially once we let them go out and they build up their own kingdoms. Their kingdoms is like the brother said, they're gonna be supplementing our kingdom. Meaning they're gonna be giving up the first fruit. That's supplementing us. Because we're gonna have our own thing going on and we're gonna be getting a piece from them. So that's gonna keep us being supplemented, man. You know? So we can have them feasts. You can't have feasts all the time unless you got a lot coming in. You know what I'm saying? You get me? When you constantly got money coming in, then you can enjoy yourself. That's what Jake don't get. You know, when Jake get money, they think when they get money, they start spending the money, but there comes a point when they're not getting no more money in, and then the good times have to come to an end. But if you're getting constant, you got all these sources of income coming in, you could just keep going, because you're never gonna run out, because the shit just keeps building up.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have whole nations supplementing our lifestyles, man.
The Esau wants to eradicate human life on the planet, right?
We need that.
We want, yeah. You know what I mean? The more you are, the more substance that come in, man.
And there's gonna be other planets and all kind of crazy stuff, man. But let's just deal with this planet for now. Let's sort this out. We don't want to go start moving mad. Yeah.
Do what Esau did, man. Trying to do with other
Let's just get this thing sorted out, man, and then we can think about, you know, the further extent. Did you finish on that? Or is it Isaiah 14 as well? When you're done here, we get Isaiah 14 as well, and Isaiah 45.
Yeah, think about clotting you in space later.
Yeah. You really want to go Mars? We could go there. We could get busy. But you're gonna be doing a lot of work though.
Yeah, you can see it.
Elon Musk and these pussy hoes, man.
As goes on, says, for brass I will bring gold, and for iron will I bring silver, and for wood, brass, and for stones, iron. I will also make thy officer peace, and thine exactors righteousness.
That's the 144,000, and the Lord's gonna upgrade us, man. We're gonna be living good. Yeah, we're gonna be living how we should. Yeah, we're gonna be living without worrying about bills and all them kind of things. And we're just gonna be, we're gonna be living it large, every day. Nothing. We ain't gonna be wanting for anything. We're gonna have it. We're gonna receive it.
Well, this picture speaks about us being gods, right? So we could be living like the highest of all kinds of life forms, you know?
High on the horse, and there's nothing wrong with that. We ain't gonna be like, oh, ghetto life. Fuck all that, man. Who the fuck wants to be all proud?
That's retarded.
I'm from the hood, man. I'm from the hood. Listen, I had it hard. Like, man, fuck about
There ain't
that,
gonna be
man.
no degeneracy in our kingdom, man.
I had it hard. Like, bro, I don't. Yeah, you want to have it hard for the rest of eternity? That's your business. Yeah, I'll tell you straight. I want it. I want some of that silver spoon thing. Yeah, that's what I really want. I don't want to be living like a prick. And yeah, man, hood life. Nah, allow that hood life. Yeah, you can keep that.
This is the way you make Jake food, make yourself food better, man.
You want to live like that, man? Fuck off. Trying to be a sufferer. I ain't want to be a sufferer, man. There you go.
Man calls it the king of New York, man, as a focus, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Ain't
man.
calling shit.
No, fuck that.
He's got a penthouse somewhere, you know?
Let's be honest, man. Go on, bro.
Violence shall no more be heard in thy land.
Oh, that's crazy, because anywhere Jake is, that's all that there is, violence, man. So then we ain't see we're not gonna be doing that no more, man, because we're gonna be governed by the scripture tells you that wherever there is strife is because they're carnal. It's because you got all the fruits of the flesh going on. That's not gonna be happening. So we're not gonna. I mean, think about how unproductive that is. Just running around killing each other for what, man? When we could be building each other up and you know what I mean, like eating lamb and all that. what the hell we gonna kill? Listen, brother, listen, let's just go back to my yard and we're gonna have a barbecue, man. What's all this all about? Shooting people and shit, bro. What's going on? I don't get it, blood. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's go roast some fish. You know, can we do that? Can we drink, you know? Why we gotta be popping off?
Can be civil.
Yeah, like what's the point here? So we're gonna be living good in the kingdom. All the tribes and all that stuff. We're gonna be giving gifts to each other and loving each other and building each other up and just enjoying ourselves, man, and our people. For all that bad man business going on and can't get together without guns popping off or some stupid shit.
But what a great feeling that would be. You know what I mean? To know that your brother's actually your brother. You know what I'm saying? Like you can do one another the right way. You know, what a lovely feeling that would be.
No lying. You know, because I was speaking about lying the other day. It's just witchcraft and deception, man. And then you can't trust no one. It's just shitty living in a world where you can't trust no one, man. You should be able to trust your brother. You should be able to, you know what I'm saying? Like, what the hell's going on here? Like, lying for what? Why lie? Just tell the truth. That's how it should be. Just tell the truth. Yo, bro, this is what it is. You know, alright, cool. All this scheming and lying and envying. What we envy for? We gonna have everything we need anyway. So there's not gonna be no need for no envy. We're gonna understand that every man is given what the Lord has given them. Simple. So none of that. What's going on right now? The murder rate, wherever Jake is, look it up. Statistical fact. The murder capital of the entire planet is South, Central, and North America. It's the fucking Jake. And Jake is just on a mad one. Life is cheap. This is just murking for no reason. Man, Jacob Murky for less than $1, man. It's crazy. It's mad. But that's not gonna be happening no more.
Violence shall no more be heard in thy land.
Hey, wait, sorry, bro. Remember that movie, The Last Action Hero, man? The nigga shot another nigga and he said, take his shoes. And man shot him with take his Jordans or some shit. And then he was like, what? Take his shoes? And he was a villain from the other side, man. He was like, what? This nigga killed a nigga for a shoe?
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, man. Oh, boy. Jake, man. The children of Israel, man. But the Lord's gonna flip all that anyway.
Wasting no destruction within thy borders, but thou shalt...
Wasting or destruction, meaning you're gonna have people like calamities happening, like buildings collapsing and earthquakes and all those things, which has been normalized to us because we're living in sin, but really that shouldn't happen. So we're not gonna have them things where there's
fires, you know,
burning buildings. Yeah,
whatever,
you come home and all your kids are in there charred up. It's a mad thing.
Or the beasts of the field came and did, you know.
Yeah, it's ran from Merc to that. That happens to a lot of people, especially around Christmas, isn't it? In Christmas lights.
Crashing, whatever. Not that going to be any cars, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, wiped out your whole family in a car crash.
Plane crash, anything like that.
But thou shalt call thy woes salvation and thy gates praise.
That's right. Yeah. So we got Isaiah. Which one you want now? 14. Yeah. Beautiful. Let's get that. Yeah, from the top.
No, Isaiah 14 is it? No. It's fine.
Isaiah. Yeah.
Go on, bro. Go on.
I wonder if we read it. Damn.
It's alright. You get it.
I did. Alright, it's Isaiah 14, right? And it says here, let's start from the top. It says, the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land.
Right. The Lord's gonna set us back up in our own land. But this ain't our lands per se. We're gonna have our own lands of our inheritance. Yeah. Go on.
Yeah, because we're giving out a lot of people, you know.
Yeah.
It says, set them in their own lands, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob.
That's talking about the Israelites that have been exiled and scattered. They're going to come back in and be brought back into the fold. All right? It's not talking about the actual heathens will never be a part of Israel, okay? Goodness gracious.
And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids.
Servants and handmaids. Now, that's the other nations. The other nations are going to be servants and handmaids in the land of the Lord, as they were before. This is not it's not a new thing. We read about the mixed multitude, the hewers of wood dons, the fetchers of water dons. You get me? Water boys. Go on, huh?
And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were.
Exactly. They can't be talking about Israelites. Take them captives, whose captives they were, meaning these other nations and Esau, they took us captives. Now we're going to take them captives they're going to be bondmen and bondwomen, and guess what? It's going to be righteous, because a captive is a bond. So that proves it's not talking about Israelites. A captive is a bondman and a bondwoman. Now we know according to the law, you can't have an Israelite as a bondman and bondwoman. Yeah?
Yeah.
Go on.
It says, and they shall rule over their oppressors.
We're going to rule over our oppressors, man.
So, you know, we ain't gonna be working for you anymore. You're gonna be working for us. You know?
Ooh.
We're gonna have the supremacy. You know? We're gonna say how things go.
Born supremacy.
Right? Because right now we're to the tune of Esau right now. His laws, his statutes, putting up with his shit, going to work for his companies, building his shit up. But that ain't gonna be no more. He's basically, you know, his shit's gonna get taken down. And the rest of these things are gonna get taken down. Okay, and you're gonna be employed, put in slavery, right? And do the work to build that kingdom up. So it shall come to pass, is verse 3. In that day, so in the day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow, because we're the ones you know, that are fucked up right now. We're the ones that are downtrodden. You know? It says, shall give thee rest from thy sorrow and from thy fear, from the hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve. And everybody knows about our history. Everyone knows about the slavery that we endured under these so-called white people, the Edomites. Okay, again, very well documented. And again, like the brother said, the half's not even been told. But it's still well documented. There's still a lot of stuff that you can read and see what you did. And you can't be forgiven for that. Esau can't find no repentance. You know, even though Esau carried people tears, there's no repentance for Esau to find. Alright? Ain't no one forgiving him. Alright? It says, thou shalt take, well, shall I go on? Shall I read on?
Where you at now?
Verse 4.
Oh, you don't have to. You
No.
can jump to Isaiah 45 if you want to. I'm trying to find that one where it talks about Jake laying down their body for these nations to walk over them.
Say 45.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. It's Isaiah 45 and verse 14. So thus saith the Lord, the labor of Egypt and the merchandise of Ethiopia and of the Sabians, men of stature, shall come over unto thee, and they shall be thine. They shall come after thee in chains. They shall come over, and they shall fall down unto thee. They shall make supplication unto thee, saying, surely God is in thee, and there is none else. There is no God. So there ain't no other God. The Most High have exalted you above us, man. So we're going to serve you. Just like the Egyptians realized after they got their asses kicked. Those mixed multitudes that came out understood. Like, nah, the Lord's blessed these men. Right? So we're going to go and serve them. And that's something the whole world is going to realize when that day comes, the day the Lord comes, that these are the children of God. Right? And besides this, there is no other God. There ain't gonna be no other God from some other religion come and intervene. They're going to know this is the only true power, man, and these are his children. And if you want to be, you know, if you don't want to get as bad, you better do right. Do the right thing. Right? And come, be, you know, not you got a choice, but you got to be servants, right? It says, verily thou art a power that hideth himself, or thyself, O power of Israel the Savior, right? Because you people don't see the Most High, you know, in the physical form down here. You think, oh yeah, well, he ain't here, you know. You don't exist. So you people take shit for granted. Even though the Most High's will and his power is always at work. The Holy Spirit's always at work in here, you know. But you don't consider these things. The fact that you even got prophets telling you these things, and the things that are happening on the earth right now, and where it's all leading to, man. You know you've been told these things. You still want to, because we're just men, right? You know, we couldn't possibly have the word of the Heavenly Father. You don't want to take it, you know, take what we say.
Sorry, the one you say.
You know.
Yeah.
But you're gonna find out that we were those men out here speaking that truth, man. Speaking the words of the Lord, right? Verse 16: they shall be ashamed and also confounded, all of them. They shall go to confusion together that are makers of idols. But Israel shall be saved in the Lord with an everlasting salvation. He shall not be ashamed nor confounded with woe without end. So it's like what we keep saying, man. Israel is destined for that salvation. It's not a salvation of the world, of all peoples in the world. Israel is that world that the Lord is delivering from the hands of the enemies.
Like, doesn't the scripture say, and the king, we shall go and possess the kingdom forever, ever, and all dominions and all that are gonna be, you know what I'm saying? It's all gonna be under.
Yep. So for thus saith the Lord power that created the heavens, God himself that formed the earth and made it, he hath established it, he created it not in vain, he formed it to be inhabited, and it's going to be inhabited. I say you heathens are going to play a crucial role in building, right? In building the kingdom and sustaining it, right? So we're going to need you heathen, right? We're not going to, most ain't going to destroy all the people off the planet. You know, we did that once.
The only one that's gonna be completely destroyed off the planet is Esau or Edom, man.
Because no one needs it. Yeah, he actually used to.
And they think people need them. They think, in fact, they actually think that if they weren't on the planet, the whole thing would just collapse. Nah, it's actually the opposite.
It's actually collapsing.
It's collapsing on the you. So, like, we're gonna bring the world forward into a renaissance that is gonna be true renaissance. Like, because in our world, it's not gonna be all this confusion. Like, a man's gonna actually have a wife and not have to ask her if she was born a fucking woman, but all this foolishness was going on. And we're gonna fix up these heathens too, because these heathens ain't right. All this bachi and boy dancers and all that stuff. We're gonna have to fix that up.
Yeah.
So they can get it right.
Yep.
We got the code of life, so we're gonna run it that way. So the algorithm could be run correct.
Yep. This verse 19 here says, I have not spoken in secret in a dark place of the earth. Right? Because all the words of the Lord are here for us to read, right? But not us as in anybody. No, Israel is here for us to read. Okay, as it goes on, right? I said not unto the seed of Jacob, seek ye me in vain, because the Lord is for us.
But we have promises. The Lord didn't just say, oh, just listen to me and you don't get nothing out of it. We have promises. We have things that the Lord has said he's going to reward us with.
Yep.
We can't seek the Lord in vain. To seek the Lord's going to give us everything that he promised.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Which is good things. You know what I mean? We ain't doing this for nothing. Even though the scripture says we're unprofitable servants, we're still going to get profit. You know, I think. I would think, you know, when you get in the kingdom and all that, it's profitable, right? Yeah. So we're still going to get something out of it.
Well, Yahweh Shai said, don't forget our labor of love.
Yeah.
You know, there's a
get
reward.
something out of
Yeah,
it.
there's a reward to it. You know, even though it doesn't appear. Everything's about sacrifice. Everything is about faith right now. You know. This is I have not spoken in secret in a dark place of the earth, and I said not unto the seed of Jacob, seek ye me in vain. I the Lord speak righteousness. I declare things that are right. So his word that he spoke is forever, man. It can't be changed. Ain't no one changing it. I know you Christians and y'all people out there like it, think that it's been changed somehow, and that includes everybody and you know all that other madness. But the Lord spoke it to Jacob. And nothing can take that away from Jacob. Nothing can take that away from us. So many souls will come and draw near. Together ye that escaped of the nations. They have no knowledge that set up the wood of their graven image and pray unto a God that cannot save. Tell ye and bring them near, yea, let them take counsel together, who have declared this from ancient time, who have told it from that time. Have not I the Lord? And there is no God else beside me, a just God and a Savior, there is none else beside me.
Yeah, that's right. And the brother put a scripture here, because remember we was talking about the herdsmen, innit? Abraham had them herdsmen. It says in Isaiah 51 and 20, he just dies. Oh wait, no, where was it? Oh, I lost it. I'm sure I read it just now. Oh, I lost it, man. I glitched. But he was talking about them minding our herds. But anyway, yeah, go on now, go on. Yeah, we'll just continue.
Well, I was gonna stop there.
I moved it, but
I'm gonna stop there, but there's I want to get to. I'm trying to jump to the last verse actually, because verse 25 says this. It says, "In the Lord shall all the seed of Israel be justified."
All the seed of Israel, yeah.
So even these things that sound so heinous and so crazy, guess what? Everything we're saying is justified. Everything that's going to be done in the earth, as crazy as it sounds, is going to be justified.
And the scripture said the just shall live by faith, which shows you when it's in Galatians, when you talk about the just, you know, it's really talking about Israel. When it's even in the other way, it says the just shall live by faith. The just is talking about the seed of Israel, man.
Yep.
The seed of Israel is the ones that are going to be justified. These heathens are not going to be justified because they're guilty,
Yeah.
and the Lord ain't dealing with them.
That's right. So in the Lord shall all the seed of Israel be justified and shall glory.
There you go. Yeah.
Simple.
Simple, innit? What are you gonna do about that, vocab?
What can you do about that?
What are you gonna do about it? You can't do shit, man. All this time, man, you like, bro, you wasting your time, bro. No doubt. What have you got there?
You want to
Yeah, we can read that. We can read that.
This is the book of Isaiah 51 and 22. Thus said the Lord, thy Lord, thus said the Lord, the Lord, and the power that predicts the cause of his people. Behold, I have taken out of thine hand the cup of trembling, even the dregs of the cup of my fury. Thou shalt no more drink it again, but I will put it into the hand of them that afflict thee, which have said to thy soul, bow down.
Right. You know that trembling cup is like when you're at the mercy of anyone. It's a terrible thing. You get captured. Like I said, when you get captured, you're at the mercy of your captors.
Hey, do you feel like you own yourself at that moment in time?
You don't own yourself. Especially if you know you violated them. Let's say, like, for instance, yeah, me and my boys go through and we done shot up a village or something and murk man up. And then something happened where we end up getting caught and we're now on our knees. These men have got a bunch of knives and things, and it's up to them now. What?
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
Their life is,
You
know, your life in their
gotta,
hands.
you're gonna be trembling, man. Man slapping you up and all that. That's what's gonna happen to these other nations, man. They're gonna be trembling because they're gonna be at our mercy, and we're gonna be able to deal with them. They're gonna be powerless to do anything about it, man.
Yep.
That couple, and that's how we've been for the longest while, trembling, scared, like rabbits, like prey. Like they tell you that when you read in that book, lynchings in America or whatever. I forgot what the fucking thing is, man. My brain ain't even working there. But it tells you that you might be like, say like you're a black man and you're traveling, and you heard that in the news or whatever that a black man did some kind of crime and is at large. Straight away, you felt that fear and that trembling because you knew that all it took was someone to go, blah, 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 it was him.
Yeah.
And that was it, Rasta blood. You're about to get that Sakara, you're about to get the Mexican execution style. You know what I'm saying? And that was a real thing. So when there would be reports that a black man had committed a crime, let's say like, oh, a black man murdered this or a black man did that, yeah, you as a Jake, as a so-called black man in America, even though you know you didn't do nothing wrong, would be instantly filled with fear because you know that at the end of the day, like, if they come to you and accuse you of it, whether you was right or whether it was wrong, yeah, they were gonna do what they want with you, and there wasn't gonna be no one to stop them because you're prey. So you end up becoming like prey, like a rabbit.
Mm-hmm.
And I study prey animals. They all you could do is they hide because you got no teeth.
Fidgety, man.
Mouse, isn't it?
Like mouse, yeah, they're prey.
Always on edge.
You're on edge now. Oh, and then it actually was an account. The guy said he was on the train, and I just felt fear because
You know, like
you didn't do nothing wrong,
The
but
man can react in any way at any time.
it was that nigga there.
Yeah, he didn't start that nigga. You know.
They
all the
knew.
time. You know, we got that. You got ID'd you. You like someone you fit a description. That type of shit.
And a lot of times they wouldn't care if it wasn't you. They have to get that get back. So
Somewhere, somehow.
someone was gonna get it. So that's another reason why they would be scared, because they know that at the end of the day, they don't get the person they want, they're gonna get someone they want. You know what I'm saying? And you will too. And they will happily just castrate you and do all kind of things to you, innit? So now that cup of trembling is gonna be in their hand.
Yep.
They're gonna be scared for themselves and scared for their families, man, and under terrible fear. Rightfully so. Yeah. I'm telling you. Listen, Issachar and them, man. I'll be scared too if I found out that I was going to be giving it to the hand of Issachar, man. That's a cup of trembling.
Almost there.
Dudes are crazy, man.
But I was gonna say this, man, because we've been on the curses for so long, but the Lord said He'll take the curses off us,
Put it
upon
His
our
own
enemies,
nation,
man. So they're gonna have to go through that.
Powerless. They're gonna know what it truly means to be powerless, man. Cause that's how they're gonna be in the kingdom of heaven. They ain't gonna have no power against us. What power would they have?
Nobody with them.
Sometimes you might do some psychologicals and make them think they got power. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna do some shit like that, make them think they got a chance, you know, and they start planning a rebellion and thinking like, yeah, you know, he bleeds, I mean, you know, it's something. You know what it was, man? Just give, hey, it's the hope that kills you, man. You know, give man that hope and then just crash it all down, like, bro, you never stood a chance in it. I just wanted to play this game. But now I'm still gonna punish you.
I was entertaining myself.
You thought you was gonna be a hero, didn't you, boy? Show you what we do to heroes right here. Go on, hey, go on, yeah, I mean dead serious too, man. We're gonna have fun in the kingdom, man. It's like a movie. Go on.
But I will put it into the hand of them that afflict thee, which have said to thy soul, bow down, that we may go over. And thou hast laid thy board at the ground, and as the street to them that went over.
That's right, man. Just letting these heathens walk all over you, and anyway, that time's gonna come to an end, and that's why Vocab getting hurt, because he's trying to control us, man. He's trying to manipulate and control us.
Trying to keep us in that submissive state.
And yeah, and we're just like, fuck you. You know what I mean? Like, bro, we ain't gonna listen to you and listen to anything you got to say. Oh, you ain't gotta prove nothing to me. You know what I'm saying?
You don't even know elite of Esau, no?
Yeah, like, where's this guy, bro? Where this guy come from?
It's commoner.
This wise guy. Right, so what we got? We got, that was Isaiah, and then there was another scripture that I wanted to bring out. Did we already get Psalms? Yeah, Psalms.
Two.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had this one here. Yeah, this is from Psalms 2. Verse 7, right? So I will declare the decree. Right? This is the decree, right? The Lord hath said unto me, Thou art my son, this day have I begotten thee. Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thy inheritance.
That's right.
So they're disposable things, you know, you have them.
No, because we read earlier, when you got a bondman and bondwoman, they are owned by you. Just like in slavery, right? Oh shit, they're gonna get flashbacks now. But in slavery, what would happen? Right, a guy will own a bunch of slaves. Like when he died, like in Candyland, in the movie Django, his dad died. Stephen was a slave, and them slaves were slaves underneath Candyland dad, right? Mr. Candy dad. The dad died, and what happened? He inherited the Candyland and the slaves, because they were property to be inherited. Yep. That's how bondmen and bondwomen are. When the owner dies, you don't just go, you then become the property of whoever is the inheritor. All right, so we're gonna inherit the Lord as sons, as his sons. We inherit you at where basically the Lord owns the whole earth and everything on it anyway.
And you are human resources.
So yeah,
so he is, right?
Yeah, like my man from Wayne said in Shutters. Yeah, our world. You're prepared for living it.
But you know what? It's like what I said earlier, right? There's no consent here. The Most High is not asking the heathen, oh yeah, no, you're gonna serve my children. No, the Lord's just giving you up, because you keep bringing it out. The Lord ain't about other people. You don't care about other people. These are just things to the Lord, you know. This is for you. You know
in the movie Jupiter Rising, she owned the whole planet,
yeah.
and then she said, how can one person own a whole planet in the movie, and all the people on it, they all belong to her, because she was royalty or whatever, royal bloodline. But that's how it is. We're gonna own everything.
Yep.
That's what it is.
It says, ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. And the whole earth is really ours. Yeah, you heathen got your plots of land that you live on, but really this is our dominion. You work to serve that, you know.
And we talk about the tabernacles of David. Well, when David was in rulership, he had nations in vassalage, man.
Yeah.
And the Lord never said there was nothing wrong with that.
Righteous.
And then we didn't have no Israelites. So, but you know, these bitch ass Israelites trying to cap for the nations. There weren't no one capping back then. Everyone's like, yeah. Because they know it's beneficial, man.
Mm-hmm.
Now all of a sudden you got Jake coming out of the woodwork trying to save Esau and save these other nations from slavery. Like, what is wrong with you, like? What are you worrying about other people for? Don't be caught up on names, blood. They like push you, blood. You know what I mean? Getting caught up on names. What are you worrying about them for? They're not worried about you. Crazy.
It's verse 9 it says, Thou shalt break them with the rod of iron. Thou shalt dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel.
Yeah, we're gonna humble them. They're gonna be broken down and understand that there is no power for us, and that happens through what's the word I'm looking for? That's it. Systematically breaking you down so you understand your role and your position, and there's nothing you can do. It takes time. You have to break people, and we're gonna break these nations down, man. Because that is repeated in Revelation, the 2nd chapter.
Yeah.
By the time we're finished with these heathens, they're gonna understand their place. They're gonna be well trained, yeah, and well respectful. They're gonna know we ain't gonna have no problems because they're gonna know what time it is. They're gonna understand. Okay, this is how it needs to be. Yeah, and it's good. In fact, we thank the Lord that it's like this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, truly.
They're gonna say how the Lord has blessed us, so it's given us some great lords. And we're gonna like, yeah.
in his wisdom.
They're gonna be praying for us, man.
In his wisdom. He's blessed us.
The Lord has blessed, provided us with His sons. Yeah, that's how it's gonna be.
They'll be happy. No, we'll be happy though.
They're gonna be happy,
They'll
man.
be happy, man. They'll understand eventually.
They're gonna be brainwashed, cleansed of their rebellious nature. They're gonna accept their inferiority. Yeah. Hey, just like these women, they're gonna be cleansed of their rebellious nature, and they're gonna accept their inferiority, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. What's the problem here? There's no problem then. We're good. Yeah? Show me show me that gratitude.
Yes, my Lord.
Am I not kind?
It's Revelation 2.
You will find that I am kind. Good.
Revelation 2, verse 25 says, But that which ye have already, hold fast till I come. Right? And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations.
What's that talking about? Power over
Rulership.
the nations. Rulership, man.
Authority.
Do so. Say so. Yo, you do this. You do that. You don't do this. You don't do that.
It shows it doesn't just apply to Yahushua. We know Yahushua is the principal son, right? The only begotten son of the Lord. He gets first dibs all, right? But Yahushua is sharing that glory and those blessings with us, man. So we're all going to be in a position of power, kingdom of kings and priests. So we're all going to be in that position of power. Just that Yahushua is above us all, you know.
Yeah, King of Kings.
So that's it.
But there's order even among kings, like David, the 12, 144. And it's always been like that. This the worst thing is when you go back. Was there not captains of? There's head families that were like. Even when you go into the scriptures, when they picked these were their family was the heads of a.
Yeah.
You know, what I mean? It's always been like that. There's always been an order, man. You could be from a family and your father was like a top don in the whole clan, and you got all these other families that respect you and come to you. It's the nobles.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It's not. These people act like it's something like
This
some
is
weird shit that never happened
The
before.
whole idea of aristocracy. You know,
Exactly.
it's those noble family lines, you know, those big ass family lines, man.
And you were born into it too.
Yep.
So it is.
And I think that aristocracy means the right ones to rule or something like that.
Top dons
You know, the ones suited to rule,
suited to rule.
right? And that's what it's going to be. We're going to be like an aristocratical race, man, on the planet, fit to rule, because we're all going to be perfect in the image of Yahweh Shai, perfect in all aspects,
Righteous.
man. That's right. Without sin, without wickedness. No,
As it
you know,
should be.
That's it.
Why wouldn't you want a world ruled by the righteous and perfect people, man?
That's
What, you want
something wrong with you.
Yeah, you want it to be ruled by this guy, this
Yeah.
Edomite. Why would you choose someone that is least qualified? No, you want the most qualified. The most
Yeah,
qualified is the chosen people of the Lord, because
Yeah,
the Lord
look.
made them for that purpose.
Yeah, look, Boris.
Oh.
You're about to get out there anyway.
There's horses for courses, and we're obviously the best horse to be running this race. Yeah.
The dark horse.
Yeah, that's why what Peter said, Lord, would thou at this time restore again the kingdom to Israel. They seem to be concerned with restoring the kingdom, but then when we talk about it, we're bad and we ain't supposed to think about that.
America.
Fuck out of here, like, Lord, man, we want the Lord to restore our rulership and our kingdom, and all us man them are going to be running things, and it's good to run things. Yeah, and the perks that come with it, and the responsibility too, because there's a responsibility that comes when you're running things. And a lot of men don't want that responsibility, but we're
They just want to fuck around and shit.
Yeah, they just
You know
want to
what I
fuck
mean?
around. Listen,
No,
we're
it's a
gonna,
serious thing. It's a serious duty, man.
building a city is a serious thing. You got to think about a lot of things. Otherwise, you end up fucking shit up, like, or not thinking ahead. Like, look how they built the underground, and then so when it gets hot, it's all fucked up. It's because they never built the underground thinking the network was going to be as big as it is now. So they got so many trains running through the network now. The heat's coming into the network. They never had built-in no way of getting rid of that heat, and they can't change it now. So it's all fucked up. Yeah, they weren't wise.
But you know, with our ascension, man, comes all that wisdom. You know,
Man.
all comes with everything, man. That's what I mean. It's such a mad position to be in. You know, there is no other people that should be ruling.
No.
You know,
No,
no, they matter
dirty heathens,
because
man.
you know
Who
we've got the power.
you gonna pick? Moab don't know what to do, man.
Yeah, but this is why we can't leave it to you to vote and all that stuff anyway, man. That's why you're gonna have it in your power to vote at night, man.
You don't let your cattle vote, do you? This is the thing, like, nah, fuck it, we gotta bring it there. You don't let your cattle vote, do you? When you're running a farm, you let your cattle vote. No,
That's why-
fuck your cattle, man.
That's why the kingdom's not gonna be a democracy.
Nah, fuck.
You know, there's one high ruler. That's Yahweh Shai on earth, right? There is no democracy. What it said is done. What he says goes. What King David says goes.
But
You know?
Solomon was blessed with the wisdom to rule.
Yep.
He weren't blessed with the wisdom to have a democracy, you know? You have certain wise men around you that might give you counsel, and that's it, man. You
Yeah,
ain't
yeah,
gotta
yeah.
have all this listening to everyone, every
What do you
pussy
think, sir?
everyone's got to say. My man is.
And your dog. What does he think?
My man only knows how to fucking hit iron, and he's got to say, like, what do you know, man? That's the problem with society. Even now, you got people running their mouth all up on social media that ain't experienced or done anything, and they're giving some high-level philosophical knowledge. Like, get the fuck out of here, man. What the fuck do you know? You got people listening to that porn stars, like, and all that, and it's like, what the hell does that person know except sucking dick, man? Like, come on, let's be real.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, you can talk about sucking dick, but don't start telling me about like economics, Brad. What's wrong with you, Brad? The fuck do you think this person knows? That's the problem with. Nah, serious. The problem with the world right now, you got people that don't know nothing about anything. Getting in the ancient world, you only got up on that pedestal on that podium because you was someone that knew. You had some. There's a reason you're there. You didn't just get like some random farmer to get up and start talking about what? If he ain't talking about farming, what's he know? He didn't even been nowhere. But anyway, point is that hopefully, I hope by going through these scriptures from the beginning, we've shown that you should not have an adverse reaction to slavery. Slavery is a part of any productive society, of any productive people. You're going to incorporate slavery in its various forms, which includes hired servants, bond servants, right? But we have a law and a way for that to be applied.
Right.
But when you hear us talking about putting these other nations in slavery, you shouldn't automatically have a negative reaction to that. You should understand, like, okay, this is what's going to happen. This is why it's going to happen. And at the end of the day, it's a righteous thing and a just thing. Don't be like, because Esau told you slavery bad, have this very simplistic view of the institution of slavery. Because that institution,
because how he implemented it.
because how he done it, because slavery is going to exist forever. It's going to always be here, and rightfully so.
Yep.
You know, slavery's coming back in a big way. Global slavery. It's in fact really, when you really think about it, it's never left.
Transgalactic.
Transgalactic. Slavery has always been here, and it's always gonna be here. It's just based upon who's ruling and how they're operating and doing it. And we're gonna
the way
do
they
according
change
to
the
law.
perception of it, and you know, so you work for your employer, it's the same shit,
Yeah, it's a hired servant, man.
but you don't think it's the same thing.
Hired servant, bond servant. Because debt slave is a bond servant,
Yep.
in a way, because you're on a certain level of bonds.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, you brothers got anything else you want to bring up?
You got something? I just want to
bring
finish
it
it
up.
off. Just want to repeat
Oh,
what
there's
was.
more? Okay,
just
yeah.
one more was. Revelation 2:27 said, he shall rule them with a rod of iron, as the vessels, it's talking about us now, as well as Yahweh Shai, obviously, but us as well, right? And he shall rule them with a rod of iron, as the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I received of my father.
Yeah. Conquer them.
Yeah.
That's what you do. You conquer them, you break them down, and you beat them into submission, and then you work from there.
You mold them.
You
mold them into what they need to be.
Yeah.
You know.
You humble them.
Hey, that's like the power of the potter's clay. We're gonna have that power of the people too. You know.
We're gonna humble them. They're gonna be humbled, truly. Yeah.
This book of Psalms 149 and 5. Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds. Let the high praises of Most High be in their mouth, and a two-edged sword in their hand, to execute vengeance upon the heathen, and punishment upon the people.
It's them war crimes.
To bind their kings with chains, and their nobles with fetters of iron.
Bond men. Yeah.
To execute upon them the judgment written. This honor of all is saint. Praise ye the Lord.
Of all the saints, honor. You just read it because you read Revelations. That's part of that honor.
Yep.
You know, so I don't know what vocab keeps banging on about it and trying to make us look bad. And that's all they're doing. Oh, these guys are just like the KKK. All that bullshit. No, we're not like the KKK. Yeah, KKK were a bunch of faggots, but they were Edomites, and we're not nothing like Edomites. You're faggots, you're gay. You like you know what I mean? You're evil. You're the devil. So we're not like the devil. It's just that.
Because why would they do what they were doing?
Yeah, they were just they were the
reason
devil
why they would do it,
that the Bible speaks of. Like,
Again, they were just full of that hate.
Yeah, they were taking people's wives and all this kind of stuff. They're evil.
We're actually just reading the judgment.
We're just going into what's in the scriptures, man.
Yeah.
Okay, this is what it is. Trying to make us look bad, trying to shame us. We're not going to be shamed. We'll tell you straight. Yeah, you're going into slavery. What's up?
Hey, if you hate our words, man, you hate this book. It's really as simple as that. You know?
Someone's got to do the work, bro. I'm doing work, but then the worst thing is I work right now and I work hard. Listen, I've always worked and I don't slack. When I go to work, I put in work. Esau will be like, okay, do that, do this. I get it done and I get it done properly. So Esau can't tell me nothing. When I put him in slavery, you better fucking work, man. Because I was working here. I weren't slacking off and hiding away. You know, sometimes you might do it, but listen, I be working hard. Ask his brother. Hey, we brothers be doing jobs. We be getting the job done. Yeah, I don't be playing around, man. I bust my back and everything out doing work for Esau. So it's only right. Yeah, when I request for you to move them rocks, yeah, you better do it. Otherwise, we're gonna have a problem, and there ain't gonna be no what they call it, no human rights and Amnesty International to protect you from the rod that you're gonna receive.
You ain't just gonna get fired.
The beating,
and you might get put on fire.
The beating you receive will be tantalizing. One ferocious slap. Hey, we're gonna have jokes, man, and that's part of the fun of the kingdom, man. Cause you know, just watching you Edomite squirm. You don't know when the slap's coming. It just happens. And it'll be like the RKO, man. Out of nowhere.
Isaiah 51 and 1. Hearken to me, ye that follow after righteousness, ye that seek the Lord. Look unto the Lord, whence ye are yield, and to the hole of the pit whence ye are dig. Look unto Abraham your father, and unto Sarah that bare you. For I called him alone, and blessed him, and increased him. For the Lord shall...
What was part of the increase? What was part of the increase? The Lord said he increased Abraham. He increased him with slaves, man. So the Lord's going to increase us with slaves. We're going to have slaves, man. People that, you know, I can't wait, man. It's all good.
Hey, and there's a lot of us.
There's a lot of us. We're going to have a lot of slaves, man. Mostly our house should be slaves. Your children are going to have slaves. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have a body slave. See, there's a term called a body slave. That's a slave that's dedicated to you and your personal... Now they call it a PA. A personal assistant. A personal assistant is a fucking slave. When these guys down in the business world hire a personal assistant, they might be getting the coffee, they be getting the dry cleaning. They basically, it's a personal assistant. They basically run, they're always on your person on call to make sure everything's running. But we're gonna have that. We're gonna in the kingdom, you're gonna have your body slave. And your body slave is there. Your children will have body slaves. And the purpose of that slave is to meet your individual needs. and they know you better than anyone else, man. How's it, you know?
Schedules, everything, man.
Yeah.
You do on a day to day, whatever it is, man.
There's nothing wrong with that. What's wrong with that? Now you gotta have Siri. Fuck Siri, blood. No AI, blood. How are you today? You know what I mean? Like, I have reordered your milk. Now fuck off. Anyway, go ahead.
For the Lord shall comfort Zion. He will comfort all our waste places,
Yep.
and he will make our wilderness like Eden, and our desert like the garden of the Lord. Joy and gladness shall be found therein, thanksgiving and the voice of melody.
That's right, man. And we're gonna be happy, man. We'll be chilling, and we're gonna have this fucking servants come and be filling up our fucking drink cups,
No, I'm
man.
sitting there filling their own drinks. So what
Yeah,
the
the
fuck's
fuck's
that?
going on, man? What's going on? It's like, fam, I'm on a double, and that's what. But that's how them elites live.
Yeah, it is.
That's how them elites live, lad. Man's got servants for everything. Man's come along and that's how we're gonna be living. Just that we own these people, man. Yo, dog, my man's cup needs topping up. Man's gonna go sort that out. In fact, I shouldn't even ask. Man, I should be looking at
No,
the cup.
waiting, yeah, ready, waiting on hand.
You know, you got. That's what you got to set the protocols in it. Yo, this is what you need to do when man's
This is
there.
what you're wishing out for.
Sort out. You know what I mean?
Your task is to make sure no one's cup is empty.
You
You know
know?
what I'm saying? Right.
And it's long. Even when you think about it, sometimes like when a man's a servant, you can't really enjoy certain things because you got to do something. Like you know when man's have got like stewards, they're there at the game, but they can't really watch the game. They got to watch the crowd. It's like it's long, blood. But that's someone has to do it though, innit? Shit. That's how it all works.
Yeah.
But anyway, like I said, hopefully, Lord willing, you more understand the different forms of slavery and how there's a righteous and just form of slavery which is in the scripture. And there's nothing unjust about owning a heathen as property. And if we really wanted to go with it, you own your wife too. She's property too. But that's triggering to people. They get all emotional about it. But it is what it is. When you get a woman, so that he that get it for wife, the beginning for possession, you own her. Like, she belongs to you. But people get all messed up about that now. But that's just the natural way of life, and that's how things work. That don't mean it tells you Isaac. Rebecca went like, oh, he's gonna own me and start losing her mind. She was like, yo, let's go.
Like that automatically means he's just gonna rough her up every day. And
let's go. Yo, let's go.
Because that's the Lord. That's what he's gonna do.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Drink a cup of coffee, back in the game. Yeah, out there. And it said Isaac loved his wife, but he owned her. What you mean you can't own? Even these wicked ass Edomites ended up marrying their slaves, man. That's happened. The Edomites fell in love with black women, so-called black women, and left the plantation to the woman. So shut up, man. Anyway, yeah, look, man, you gotta understand these things. Slavery and the institution of slavery has a function, and it's in the scriptures, and it's gonna come back in a big way. But we're gonna be the masters and the rulers, and these other nations are gonna be the subjects and whatever what's the inferior term you want to place upon them. That's what they're gonna be. And it's all good. All right. They're kids too. Yeah, the children, everything. Little babies come out slave. Stamp on the head. Right? So, and double honors to the apostles, the elders of Great Millstone. And honors to you brothers out there in the highways and the byways teaching this word. Shalom to you brothers and sisters listening and learning. Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom to the slaves.